Good evening and welcome to the night session on day 7 of the 2023 Para-Athletics World Championships here at Stade Charlotte in the south of Paris. The morning started off a little bit cool. It came warm in the afternoon. It is our breeziest day so far of these championships. It's taken until the evening session on day 7 to say that. Wonderful crowd in again. We had Yannick Noah, the former French tennis player, thrilling the crowd beforehand with his band. Those people were enthralled by the former tennis superstar. So 32 degrees still. Look at that wind though, 24 kilometers per hour. It has barely been above 3 or 4 kilometers per hour in each of the other sessions of this competition. Just in front of you there is where the shot put will be. Those who aren't competing are cheering on their teammates. So this is what we got to look forward to. There are 11 finals, 4 in the field, 7 on the track. The men's javelin throw F34 and women's discus throw F41 get us underway. We'll also be looking forward to the men's long jump T38 a little bit later. Men's long jump T64. The great Marcus Ream will go in that one. Then later on, finishing off the session, women's 100 metres T53, Catherine Brunner. Men's 100 T53 will also take us out there with Pongsiko and Payo, and Tatiana McFadden will go in the women's 100 metres T54. There is so much to look forward to on what is a beautiful evening in Paris on Bastille Day. Fête Nationale Française. What a lovely day it's been, weather-wise as well. Heading around towards the 200 metre mark on the track. I say that because this is where the field events will start in the evening session with the men's club throw F51 final. I'm Tolson Tollett, Will Downing alongside me, Steph Freed with us, giving us colour commentary and explaining all the nuances of para sport. Steph, of course, a former World Championship gold medal from 2017 for Great Britain. Good evening to you both. Men's club throw to get us underway.
Yes, a lot of field events tonight to keep us occupied. We have 11 titles being decided this evening, 7 in the track, 4 in the field. A club throw F51 and the women's shot put F32 as well, which will be getting the next 4 minutes. Men's long jump T64 in the next half hour with Marcus Ream and the F46 shot put 2. So it's going to be full in the field all night. So the various introductions are underway in this men's club throw F51. There's 7 in this. We've gone past Marian Correa of Slovakia and Dalambir of India, Mario Ramos of Mexico we've seen. There's Alexander Radicic of Serbia. He's right there. There he is. Alongside Michal Enga of the Czech Republic. Now Czechia. All under the same umbrella, which is fair enough. Sun's been out relentlessly the past few hours. For Serbia, it's Filip Krajevic. And for India, it is Pranav Surna. Spectacular week for India in field events. And a very good evening to Steph Reed. What are you looking forward to most this evening?
The obvious choice for me would be the men's T64 long jump. And to be honest, I am really curious to see if Marcus Ream can actually clear that pit. And actually, I think both of you were commentating in Berlin when they actually had to put out Matt at the end of the pit because he was jumping so far.
He almost went beyond.
Yeah, I actually worried that day. I thought that he was going to land outside the pit onto the cement, and I thought he was going to do himself a mischief. In the end, it was a world record. He's broken it again since, but it was some day, and it was right in front of us in that main stand there. It was a wonderful day. The weather was beautiful. Berlin, lovely city. You couldn't ask for more. Women's shot put F32 final will also be up in the field. That's set to get underway at 6:34 local time. Anastasia Moskalenko, the world record and championship record holder. She's also the world and Paralympic champion. So that is the field. Season best for Moskalenko of 6:63. Brito of Brazil, 6:98 season best. So she may be on course, the 27-year-old, for a bronze, silver or gold medal in this one this evening. Seeded category for that women's shot put F32. We have 9 who are scheduled to go in the field. Breezy this evening, may not look it, but the wind is just picking up slightly today. So let's introduce you to the field. Argentina's Marilu Fernandez, who was 7th in the Paralympic Games in 2020. Lifetime best set this year of 5:33. And there is Moskalenko of Ukraine. Still hasn't turned 23 yet. That'll happen next month. She's the reigning world and Paralympic champion. Thekra Alkabi of the UAE. She was 6th in the club throw at these championships already. Mura Ibrahimi of Tunisia. Silver in the club throw. Bronze in this event in 2012 and 2016. Gold in 15 and 17, so a former champion. Mina Gazmi of Algeria. No mark in the club throw, so she'll be hoping to get something in this. Sarah Clifton-Bly, one of 2 Australians taking part. 19-year-old making a major championship debut. And the lady with the season best out of all these athletes, Wana Britu, that lifetime best, 6:98. Rosemary Little, second of the Aussies to take part. Bronze in 2012 in the 100 metres, so this is somewhat of a difference for Rosemary Little. And Nura Alktebi of the United Arab Emirates, 8th in the club throw here. She was silver in this event in 2016 in Rio. So this is a seeded event. Just run us through, Steph, what will happen.
So for the seated throwing events, each thrower takes all 6 of their throws at once, and this is because, as we're about to see, it's quite a logistical process getting the athletes into and out of their chairs. Those orange ropes that are currently attached to that chair, they're called the tie downs, and that is what, one, makes sure the chair stays secure while they're throwing, and the athletes then strap themselves to the chair. And this process is really important because that chair essentially becomes a part of their body. That is their foundation for throwing in the seated throws.
And you might have just seen a clock there to the side that was counting down from 4 minutes. So as she gets herself into position, she'll be strapped in. The chair was already in position, being the first thrower, and then she'll have as many practice throws as possible before that 4 minutes is up. You can see there, as we go across to the club throw, the same situation there with that clock counting down. These are practice throws at the present time in the club throw. First up, it'll be Marian Karasia of Slovakia. When that gets down to 0, it will be game on, and Karasia will then take all 6 of his throws, and he'll have his first mark of the competition.
You can see there that Karaja is actually using his day chair, which is a chair he spends most of his time in, and almost converting it for the time being into a throwing chair. And some athletes will choose to do that simply because that day chair has been built bespoke for their body, and it gives them that bit more support. And you can just see he's incorporated there what we call, well, it's called a vertical bar, and that's allowed on the chairs. And that's something that the athlete can grab onto just to give them a little bit more balance if they don't have the core strength and support to allow them the range of motion that they need to throw well.
And of course, some of the athletes choose to face the opposite direction and actually throw it back over their head as well. So it's each to their own. There's no specific way that you have to throw the club, as long as you keep your backside down and your legs and you make sure that it stays within the quadrant, you will get a mark.
And that's really the great thing about this event. You can even see from the shape of the club that's being held right now by the official. The club itself is 397 grams at a minimum, and there are regulations around the size of it. But it just gives the athlete a lot of options in terms of how to grip the club, because in this category F51, there can be impairment with the grip, and while it might be a little bit difficult to perhaps hold a shot, you can see there the fingers are just getting taped. Actually, even the taping of fingers is heavily regulated in this event. Athletes are allowed to have tape on their fingers, but they cannot have 2 or more fingers taped together. And again, because grip comes into it, and they want to make sure it is an even playing field across the board. This is, however, eating into his warm-up time, but perhaps he's already taken the throws that he wants, and he's quite happy to crack on with his first throw.
Well, he has a season best of 33.05, which is a lifetime best. Bronze in 16 in Rio, bronze in 2020 as well. And these are the clubs, and the handle on the clubs almost like mushrooms, don't they?
It is, and you can grip the club either from the head or on the handle, and there's quite a lot of variety in terms of just making it work in the best way that you can, depending on what works best for your body.
Well, Croatia, by my reckoning, with my eyesight in the distance, has around 20 seconds remaining for his opening throw. That will be his first mark. That one landing inside that quadrant out there. He gave it a bit of a hook away to the left, but it has given him a mark. So you saw there that it just snuck inside the net, stayed inside that quadrant, which goes out like a cone shape out to the far reaches of the field. So a first up mark for Marian Croatia of Slovakia. It is 30.49 metres. So he's a few metres short of what his lifetime best is that he set this year.
When you take all 6 throws in a row, in some ways, it can be, you get into your groove and you get into your rhythm, you get about a minute in between. And in some ways, I do think that the order matters. I personally would probably prefer to be up first, because you've already warmed up, you can get into it, and you don't have to sit and wait and risk getting cold while everyone else takes their turn ahead of you.
Yeah, it's an interesting thought, isn't it, that if you go first, you can get a mark, but then you've also got the situation where you could be doing really well, and there may be an athlete towards the bottom who's a great competitor, and all of a sudden you're sitting pretty thinking you've got the gold or the silver or the bronze, and you get knocked out of it by someone else. But they are the things that happen. There's no choice really, but you've got to go with it some way. And the Slovakian is first up, and he gets the crowd watching him and getting him going right from the get-go. And it is, at the moment, where they are over there doing this competition, the sun is still on it at the moment, so there's a bit of wind into his face at the moment when there's windsocks. So has it made much of a difference? Is that wind strong enough to really make a difference to what he's throwing at the moment?
But I'm actually not sure on that one. It definitely makes a difference when it comes to the discus, which can act a bit like a plane wing, but I'm not sure if the shape of that one has as great an impact on the wind.
Well, I do know one thing. You have to keep on your toes out there if you're an official, because you do not want to be hit by one of them. They might look a little harmless, but if one of those hit you, it would hurt. So the second throw was a foul. After this throw, he'll have a rest. He will be able to take on some water. That's just inside the quadrant. He'll be able to take on some water. He'll be able to readjust himself if he needs to do that. And then his final 3 will go from there. We can see he keeps on heading out to that left-hand side, and that would partially, I guess, Steph, be from the fact that when he's holding on to that vertical bar, the momentum just brings him across that way regardless.
Yeah, it looks like he's trying to... You want to get your arm speed going as quick as possible, and I like what he's doing with that flick at the end. Again, just trying to get that extra burst, and that's why we do have a throwing sector. It does allow for a little bit of leeway, but ideally you do want it to go down the center. So
29.32 for his third. He'll have a rest now, take some water on, and then the next 3 throws will go from Croatia. Now, this is the crowd as we zoom out from the main stand. We'll head to the track for the first event of the evening there. Men's 400 metres, T13, list of the visual impairment categories, opening heat of 2. Interestingly, the Paralympic champion, Skander Athmani, who has that world record there, did not start in the final of the 100 metres, and he's not in either heat of this. So, the Paralympic champion, the world record holder, not there competing in this one. That gentleman is Masujane of Botswana, 25 years of age, on his major championship debut. What a feeling for him. The experienced Johannes Nambala of Namibia, world champion in 2013 and 19, looking to defend his title here. Samuel Eka de Souza, 25-year-old, his first major championship, revving the crowd up. Good to see, nice confidence. Jakaran Damuni of Thailand, 100, 200, 400 gold in 2023 ASEAN Para Games recently. Ryota Fukunaga, also at his first major championship, the 24-year-old. Hong James Ethan of Singapore, debutant as well. Edwin Masuge, he was 7th in this event in Tokyo 2020 of Botswana, will go in lane 8. So Botswana bookending this event in lane 2 and in lane 8. 3 fastest will go through. After that, the 2 best qualifying times will advance to the final as well. Now this is the least of the visual impairment categories. All of the runners without a guide. 7 of them to go. Only 3 can definitely go through to the final. That man will be hoping to continue his impressive form over the years. Bronze medalist in Tokyo 2020. Silver going back to Rio. But he is the reigning world champion. So away they go in the opening heat of the men's 400 metres T13 visual impairment category, and it is Nambala who's got out very quick from lane 3. He's looking extremely strong at the moment. Masuga Botswana also running well on the outside, but up on his shoulder is the Japanese athlete Ryota Fukunaga, who is storming past the Botswanan. They move around with 150 metres to go. Nambala looking very strong indeed in the middle as they'll round the bend to come into that final 100 metres. Now this is where the legs will start burning somewhat. First 3 will go through, and it is the Japanese who's looking extremely strong. Fukunaga in first place. Nambala is coming home well. He's going to take second. It's going to be a race on that 3rd automatic qualification place. And it is going to be the man from Thailand, Jakaran Damini, who's gone across there, 47.81. So a decent enough time there from Ryota. Well, there's Damini, who came home and took that automatic 3rd qualification place. It is a Asian record, by the way, for Fukunaga. Season best time for Nambala as well. But it was a wonderful start by the Japanese athlete who ended up winning it in Fukunaga step.
It was a great start. He went out with intention, and when you're in a heat and you know that there's a final coming, you want to run it in such a way that well, you give as least effort as possible, and the best way to do that is actually to go out hard. You want to go out hard, and then you have the opportunity as you're coming down the home straight and the freedom to see if you can shut it down a bit, because as you said, it's that home straight that can really take it out of you if you have to keep pushing even when that lactic acid is in your legs. But he was very smooth going around the bend, and he's going to come off and he'll see that he has lots of room. What was really interesting was to see the battle that was actually going on for that third place and that final automatic qualification spot that would get them into the final. And Dumune did really well to fight and realize the situation he was in.
Yeah, he did do extremely well. That last 50 metres, it was a real battle on, because the Botswanan, Masajane, looked like he was going to take it, but it was Damine in the end who's gone across. A lifetime best for him as well on 50.04. So Fukunaga, Nambala and Damine go through to the final. Wonderful scenes. Damine, who just recently in Cambodia picked up that triple of gold medals, picks up third place, and this man here, the winner of that first major championship, he's really enjoying himself, isn't he? It's great to see when the athletes go across and they see their coaching staff, they see fellow athletes and friends, and they're getting the plaudits, and just gives them a lot of confidence moving forward in their career.
It is great to see, but I can't believe he just finished a 400 and he's able to talk that casually.
Oh, there's Fleur Young in the crowd, taking in the night's entertainment.
Well, I'm sure she has a lot of interest in this men's T64 coming up as well.
Don't we all? Don't we all? So now introducing the mascot for Paris 2024, unveiled tonight.
Yes, they were down on the track there having a look around, getting to know the crowd. Now, I may not be pronouncing this correct, but the Fridges are their name. So welcome to the Fridges for Paris 2024, the mascots for the Olympic and Paralympic Games. Good to see them introduced. I'm not too sure what Luda and Vigo might be thinking. They've got some competition down trackside. Now, I know, Will Downing, you're a big fan of mascots. I saw your eyes light up when you saw them. And I know that you're going to try and get a picture with them at some point, because you are obsessed with mascots. The youngsters will be getting pictures with them as well. But Will Downing is a big fan of the mascots. He's like a little kid when he sees them and he gets all excited. So we might have to try and introduce him to the Fridges at some point over the next couple of days. Paris, the city, is a wonderful place to be. Those who live here are very lucky indeed. It's a fantastic place. A little chilly in the winter, but lovely and warm at this time of the year. Stade Charlotte looking as beautiful as ever. This track was replaced a couple of years ago. It was the orange tartan track before, but it's been set a World Athletics standard and brought in, and it is a fantastic service, and I think we can attest to that because we've seen world records and championship records all throughout these championships as the second heat in the men's 400 metres T13 is about to get underway.
Has been a really spectacular week yesterday. 10 world records, remember, on the track and in the field, and let's see if this can continue tonight. So men's 400 metres T13 continues, heat 2 of 2, and this is the reigning European champion from Azerbaijan, Elmer Jabrailov. The reigning Pan Am champion in the 400 and fourth in the last Paralympic Games goes in lane 4 for Colombia. That's Brinda Bermudez. Next up for Norway, 7th in the 100 metres final here as he was in the Euros 5 years ago, Vegard Sverd of Nornes Salas, just outside Bergen. Championship debut in lane 6 for this 21-year-old from BPRSV in Cottbus, Max Marsilia. In lane 7, a championship debut for the 19-year-old, and he's only in the 400, Ivan Hernandez. And in lane 8 for Botswana, a man who we've previously seen at the 2019 World Championships. He went out in the heats in that. He's only in the 400 in here. It's Bose Magwati. So it's the first 3 who are going to go through to the final. Jabrailov, Bermudez, Sved, Marsilia, Hernandez, and Maguati. So Marsilia at the age of 21 in what's been a German squad of many fresh faces. It's Sved's third World Championship, and that's 7th place the other night in the 100 meters final, his best ever result. So Jabrailov in 3, Bermudez, Sved, Marsilia, Hernandez, and Maguati are the 5 going in this. Jabrailov, 49.88 is lifetime best. Fastest in the field this season is actually Bermudez, the Pan Am champion in lane 4, who's going great guns right now. He's already taken care of the staggered and Sved and Marsilia. Jabrailov has got a little bit of catching up to do, the man from Azerbaijan, who's only entered in the 400 this time around. Hernandez is going well too, the 19-year-old debutant. They straighten up. It's Bermudez leading the way, Hernandez of Spain now coming up, and Sved as well of Norway. They're the top 3 are looking good for this spot in the final. And it's taken by Bermudez. Excellently done by Hernandez. Sved up there as well. Marsilia was trying to fight back right at the end. 49.98. Bunder Bermudez hasn't taken a huge amount out of him. It is a season's best. And he goes through to the final quite confidently. Hernandez with a lifetime best. And he's taken over a second and a half of it. 50.26. Bit of a blanket finish. But Marsilia did overtake Sved on the line. 50.33. Broke the German record last year.
Now, we have been talking non-stop about pacing in the 400, and it's just because it's so important. And for me, the most impressive thing about this race was Marsilia. You can see, well, first thing you have to do on a 400 meters is get out to a great start, but you still have to have an element of pacing. And on this one, you'll see in a few moments that Marsilia he got off to an okay start, and he was going down the back straight, and he suddenly found Sved very, very close up on him. You can see there, he's behind. There's also a stagger there. And the thing is that he didn't panic. So often the temptation is to suddenly change gear and feel like you have to start sprinting and trying really hard, but doing that won't help. And he just eased his way through. He trusted his form and his speed at the end, and he was rewarded with a fantastic 3rd qualifying spot.
It's good news as well for Sved of Norway, who's through to another final and a lifetime best room too of 50.64. T13, the category of least visual impairment, but a maximum of 20% vision. Sved has done really well. Lifetime best for Maguati as well. In 6th spot, he won't go through. So Bunder Bermudez, 49.97. He, Hernandez, Marsilia, and Sved. The top 4 all progress.
So let's head to the long jump for the first time this evening. It's the T64 final. The lineup is being prepared. I did see the Frisians, by the way, a moment ago. They can't fly. They were trying to get up the stairs. Wasn't good. Let's hope they're okay.
Well,
here we go.
Definitely can fly. In the final of the men's long jump. First of all, for Greece, going out to 7:23 this year, and the previous European champion, Stylianos Makalopoulos, world record holder in the T62. Jensen Merrill comes next, bronze in the Paralympic Games in Tokyo. Yamani Nasri of Morocco, 626 man this year. Jared Wallace, next up of the United States, the 100 meters Pan Am champion. 2 of the last 3. Marco Chichetti of Italy, who finished 6th in Tokyo. Derek Loxodon of United States, who've already seen in the sprints here this week. 760 is lifetime best this year, so he could be a bit of a contender for the medals. Noah Baudelaire of Germany, 675 is lifetime best this year. Konstantinos Velsis regularly pushes his way into the medals as well. But Malelo Malonga likewise, even though he finished 5th in Tokyo. Loic Wanji of Cameroon. And next up, how far can he go this time? World record of 872 set in Riyadh 3 weeks ago. Championship record set in Doha in 2015. He holds all the titles. Marcus Rame, 4 Paralympic golds, 7 World Championship titles, 5 in the long jump because he's had his time in the relays as well. So 2 for Germany in this. Greece with 2, United States with 2. And there's always a little bubble of excitement every time that Marcus Rame comes out because, well, we've seen him time and again smash that world record. Belting crowd in tonight. Lots in from 5:30. Yannick Noah on Wimbledon semi-finals day is here and not there. French Open champion 83, won the Davis Cup. These are the men looking for the golden prize tonight. Jared Wallace has gone out to 754 this year. Derek Loxodon to 760. Marcus Rame to that brilliant mark of 864. And it's been a day where the wind has blown up for the first time this week. This is day 7 officially out of 10. Stelanios Malakopoulos has pulled out of the opening attempt, unfortunately. And even more unfortunately for him, he might actually get a white flag. A mark that he isn't going to do anything with. 365 it is. He'll do better next time. Shenton Merrill next to go for the United States. T62. Makalopoulos is. Malongo, Wanji, T44s. Kiteti is as well, and the rest are all T64 all together in this decider, and the different categories have got those nuances.
So sometimes in the amputee races, we will see single leg and double leg amputees compete together. They don't compete together in the 200 and in the 400. But what they do is they look at the category and they make a decision. It's clear that it's not the same. Running and sprinting on 2 blades versus 1 is not the same, but the question is whether or not it is competitive in the sense that it's a fair competition. Yeah,
3 different categories going in this, so you may well see someone who gets a championship record and finishes in 6th position, and that's because of the fact that there are those different categories.
Now, Makalopoulos has been given the opportunity of having another go here for Greece, which is fair enough. He pulled out of that jump. There was some issue in his run-up which distracted him. So that mark has been wiped, happily. So we can go and do it all over again. So Malakopoulos comes now for real. Red flag, and he was well over it.
You can see there that he's not quite happy with that run up, and you can also see on the run up as well, one of the nuances of the double blades versus the single blades is that it takes a little bit more time to get going. But it's interesting to see that he's actually got some duct tape on his blade there. It really does help fix lots of things.
Well, the club throw continues. Next to that is the shot put. Moskalenko, who is the reigning champion, also the world record and championship record holder. 687, 724. This, her third. All six taken at the same time. Fourth in the club throw, 7.50. That's a new championship record for Anastasia Moskalenko of Ukraine. So the women's shot put continues as we move back to the track. Men's 400 metres, T20 intellectual impairment category. First of two semi-finals. And this one here contains the Paralympic champion from France. On your left of screen just there. He will get a roar from the crowd. Charles-Antoine Kouakou is set to go in the opening semi-final. Daniel Tavares of Brazil holds that world and championship record. He will go in the second of the heats. Greslino Barbosa of Cape Verde, 38 years of age, bronze in Tokyo in 2020. Kim Byung-jin, 22-year-old, his first major championships. Jonabel Rodriguez, just outside the medals in 2016 in Rio. Didn't get out of the heats in 2017 and 19 in the Worlds. Anderson Colorado from Ecuador, silver in 2019. Samuel Oliveira, first major championships for him at 23 years of age. Listen to this. Well, we'll let that hang. Charles-Antoine Kouakou, reigning champion in the Paralympics, silver in the last European Championships. Juan Carlos Wisdom of Panama didn't get out of the heats in Tokyo. And Alvin Nomleni of Indonesia. Gold in the 800 metres at the recent ASEAN Para Games in Cambodia. This a stiff test in the 400. So the fastest three will go through, and then we'll be waiting for the next two fastest to advance once those semi-finals are finished. World record and championship record holder Tavares of Brazil goes in heat number 2. The Paralympic champion goes in this one from lane 6. Barbosa, Kim, Rodriguez, Colorado, Oliveira, Kouakou, Wisdom and Nomleni in the men's 400 metres T20 semi-final number 1. And Kouakou, he's looking extremely smooth as he goes out of the blocks and down that back straight. He's working his way up on the inside of the man out in lane 7, Wisdom of Panama, but also doing very well on the inside is Oliveira of Brazil. He's looking very good indeed. Now remember, this is the first 3 who go through. At the moment, there is a real pace on with around 5 in with an opportunity, if not 6, to finish in that top 3. This has almost got the look of a final about it. Kwaku is actually struggling out in front there and looking very good indeed. It is the Colorado of Ecuador, but here come the big guns, and it is Kwaku who's going to come in second in the end, just behind Oliveira, and Anderson Colorado has picked up 3rd place. He did all the running, and that shows you how tactical this race can be, because Kwaku at one point looked to be struggling somewhat. There was a fast pace on, 48.43 the time. 48.41 it's been rounded down to for Samuel Oliveira. A season best for Kwaku in 2nd place. 0.11 of a second behind Oliveira in the end. And 3rd to be decided, a season best for Anderson Colorado of Ecuador, and as he who made most of the running down that back straight.
There was an entire stadium erupting for this race, and we all know who they were cheering for. And it's not easy for Kwaku to come in. He is the defending Paralympic gold medalist, and he is about to enter into a home Paralympics, and not just a home country, but this is also the city in which he works, and there is no better test for him right now than seeing how he's going to react under that home pressure. And this is the best thing about a 400 meters is that you run the first 300 of the race, and then everything can change on that back straight, because on that back straight, that's where that lactic acid can hurt. And what happens is it's almost a race now to decelerate the least, and to be able to do that, you have to almost release the tension at the moment when you want to fight the most, and that's not easy to do. It's not easy to do under pressure to deliver, and wow, what a great experience for Kwaku ahead of that final and ahead of 2024.
Well, the pace went on from Colorado. Kwaku looked like he was running really smoothly in that first 100, 150 metres, but there is a lot of pressure. And even though I'm trying to be as impartial as possible calling these races, you do want the home nation to get someone through. Season best for Kwaku in 2nd. Oliveira takes 1st. Colorado of Ecuador goes through. Lifetime best for Wisdom in 4th position, and a season best for Rodriguez going through in 5th. So we'll have one more semi-final to go, and then we'll find out who those fastest qualifiers are as well.
So, Trenton Merrill of the United States, the Pan Am champion from Lima 4 years ago. Bronze in Tokyo. He's gone a decent distance in this as Trenton Merrill. You saw the opening effort from Malakopoulos. That was a no jump. Merrill has done a good job there. 7:48 this season, but there is only one 8-meter man in the field.
It's an extra challenge for someone with a blade to be able to have precision on the board, and it's because when you're running on a blade, you don't quite have the same proprioception as you do on your foot. And I found that sometimes I thought that my blade was somewhere else, and you have to take time to adjust. And that was interesting there, just to see Trenton Merrill writing in his notebook.
Biography.
Well, Merrill leads 7:33. Here comes Derek Loxodent now, who we've seen in the 100 competition, reach the semi-finals. It's gone out to 7:60 this season, which is the 2nd longest for the year of this field.
You can just see watching that, Derek Loxodent is an absolute powerhouse, which is no surprise as he comes from an American football background. He's quite new on the scene and has definitely surprised a few people with just how quickly he's come on.
Ooh, he's given away about 25 centimeters there.
And actually, when it comes to the blades, it's much more advantageous, even than on a real foot, to step down on that wooden surface, because the wooden surface is actually much stiffer and you get a better reaction off the blade when you nail it.
So that was 675. Loxodent goes into third position as we reach the second semi-final of this men's 400 meters T20, and the world record holder is in this, Daniel Tavares Martins of Brazil, with that world record coming in Sao Paulo in 2019. Championship record set when he took the title here 4 years ago. So it's a championship debut for France, and he's only going in the 400 meters for Haroun Khalifa in the Virtus Indoor Championships. He won 2 silvers, 2 bronzes. He's from Senegal. Championship debut on lane 2 as well for Igor Oliveira, Portugal. And again, only going in the 400. In fact, it's the case with all of these. There's limited track events for the T20 intellectual category. Championship debut for Iran from Milad Ramazani Torkamani. This man is experienced. World silvers in 2015 and 2017. European bronze 2 years ago. Delibert Rodriguez of Spain. In lane 5 for Brazil, the 2016 Paralympic champion, gold medalist of the last 3 world championships in this, Daniel Tavares Martins. In lane 6 for Great Britain, the reigning European champion, bronze in the Paralympic Games in Tokyo, Columba Blango. And 2 championship debutants on the outside. In lane 7 for Mauritius, Giovanni Philippe. And alongside him in lane 8 for Saudi Arabia, it's Idris Soufiani. So we've already seen the Paralympic champion do well. So Delibert Rodriguez, the world silver medalist in 4, the world champion Tavares in 5, the European champion Blanco in 6, and this men's 400 meters T20 semi-final. Top 3 to go through, plus the next 2 across the heats. Delibert, you remember his brother Dionibel, regularly competing in this and regularly medaling. But not in this competition this time. So 5 championship debutants in the 8. We know the form guide for the middle 3, and they're all away well. Tavares in 5, Blanco in 6 particularly, are coasting in the moment. Now, Ramazani of Iran in lane 3 in that white singlet is going excellently right now. He's heading up on Delibert Rodriguez, the world silver medalist. We'll see how that goes for the rest of us as we reach halfway. Blanco going excellently for Great Britain. It's overtaken Giovanni Philippe and Stefani on the outside. And now they'll straighten up. It's Blanco, but here comes Ramazani still going up. Tavares, the world champion, in 3rd position. And this is Philippe who's coming from nowhere. Philippe will take it. Wow. Ramazani in 2nd place, the championship debutant staying in the top 2. Blanco might just have been run out of it in 3rd by Tavares, and I think he was. Well, Philippe came out of absolutely nowhere. The 21-year-old from Mauritius in his 1st ever championship race. Ramazani stayed up all the way through. Championship record for Philippe as well. That is faster than the time that won gold 4 years ago. Ramazani has run an African record, which would be very impressive. And Tavares up in 3rd, 48.17. Well, that is absolutely astonishing. So a championship record and an Asian record, obviously, in the top 2. And Tavares, the world champion, 3 times in a row, going for 4 in a row, is beaten by 2 newbies, 2 rookies.
Well, you can see on the speedometer just how quickly the men went from 0 to over 30 kilometers an hour. And I mean, we probably sound like a broken record continuing to say this, but pacing is so important. And actually, by way of an example, Sydney McLaughlin-Laverne, she ran a 400 meters in Paris, actually on this track in May, and she ran it in 49.71. A month later, she ran almost a second quicker. And it's not that she's grown significantly stronger or faster in that month. It's just that she's learned how to run it better, in her own words. And we can see there, just on lane 8, the way Cipriani just comes through. He timed that perfectly.
Well, what an astonishingly impressive win for the man from Mauritius. 47.38. That is 2.3 seconds inside his lifetime best. Now remember the thing about the T20s, tactical running is not in the equation, it's the intellectual category. We'll often see runners bomb out. He did that. He did well with it. 47.38. That is half a second outside the world record. Yvani Philippe goes through for Mauritius, championship record, Asian record for Milad Ramazani of Iran, Tavares, Blanco, Rodriguez, all go through, and their lifetime best as well for Shibani and Igor Oliveira. That'll take a lot to compute. But the big names are pretty much all through.
We'll just tidy this up quickly as well. In that first heat of the T20 semi-finals in the 400, Kim of South Korea was disqualified. He wasn't going to go through, the youngster making his championship debut, disqualified for running out of his lane. So Kim Byung-jin disqualified from the opening heat. Doesn't make a difference to the overall standings though.
Look at this. Could we have a clean sweep in the men's long jump for the United States? Well, no, because he's around. Some things in sport seem very, very predictable. We've had some big names have 2 misses actually early on in their particular competitions, including in the women's equivalent of this. But Marcus Rame is Mr. Reliable. And he's a man who so many have come out to see. He has thrilled us all year after year since his first world title in 2011. He's had 5 in a row. This was 6 in a row. Oh, here he goes again. You can set your watch by him. A white flag for Marcus Rame, and now the white flag can be raised by everybody else. He will lead by almost a metre. And there's no coming back from that. Steffi Nereus, the long-term field events coach for Germany, delighted. A champion in her own right, and so is he.
When it comes to Rem, he just has that perfect combination of he's so fast on the board, and then just look at him hang there. The cameraman did well just to keep him in the center of the screen that whole time because he jumped so deceptively high and deceptively far. And okay, just to put into context how good he is, his personal best is good enough for Olympic gold going back to at least 1992, possibly farther. I just didn't have time to check, but that is how good he is.
8:27. Absolutely fantastic. Well, I can tell you 8:90 was the mark in 1968. But there's a reason for remembering that. Malakopoulos, his second attempt, he missed in the first round. He was given 2 attempts at it. There was a technical error. And now there's a launching error. It's another red flag. And it's jeopardy for the European silver medalist, remember, from 2018.
We have a great shot there of not just where his foot placement is on the board, but actually you can see the compression in the blade, and that's because the blade stores the energy, but we can come back to that in just a moment.
He was getting advice there from the German team coach and the former world javelin champion Steffi Nereus.
We'll return to the long jump shortly, but it's continuing on the track. The race is coming thick and fast. 11 finals all up this evening, 4 in the field, 7 on the track. Women's 400 metres, T47. This for those affected by an upper limb deficiency. Amanda Serna of Chile, a season best in the heat for her. Lifetime best of 59.25. In the Chot Saistrawan of Thailand at the recent ASEAN Para Games, won the gold in the 100 and 200. CG Sai of Japan, bronze medal in 2016 in Rio. She looks very focused indeed. Maria Clara Augusto of Brazil won her heat, just 19 years of age. What a career she's got in front of her. Talking of careers, Li Lu of China, gold in 2016 in Rio, London 2017 gold in the Worlds, and silver in Dubai in 2019. Fernanda da Silva of Brazil, bronze in the 2019 Pan American Games. Petra Lutheran, lifetime best in the heat, failed to qualify from the 100-metre heats. And Amanda Rummery of Canada didn't get out of the heats in 2019. Li Lu, former Paralympic champion and world champion in 2017. Paralympic gold the year before. And Fernanda da Silva, bronze medalist in the Pan American Games in 2019. World Championship record. And Runa Veyes of South Africa not in these championships, but there is still a very good field in this women's 400 metres T47 category, and going out very quickly indeed is da Silva of Brazil, who's leading back down the back straight, but just on the red shorts and the white vest there. You can see Li Lu, the former Paralympic champion, is keeping pace with her, but it is da Silva at the moment who's rounding up on the inside of Rummery as they come into that real pain barrier area with about 150 metres to go. It is da Silva who's out in front. Li Lu is doing her best, but storming around the inside it is another Brazilian, Augusto, who's working hard and just going around that bend, but da Silva is out in front in lane 6. She looks like she's going to hold on. She is tightening up a little bit, but she's going to hold off the challenge from Li Lu and Augusto, her Brazilian compatriot, to take the victory, 57-32. She takes the gold medal. She bows down on the ground. She did it tough in that last 100 metres. You could tell she was tightening up with around 50 to go. The lactic acid burn was there. But a season best time of 57.30 sees her across with a gold medal for the first time at a World Championships. Lee in second position with a season best 58.13 for her. She just couldn't get there in the end. With around 200 to go, she was doing her best. But it was da Silva who put the foot down moved away and had done enough in the first 50 metres of the last 100 to hold on. Lee's happy. Augusto, a lifetime best, taking the bronze. So it's a Brazil 1 and 3. Gold and bronze. Bookending the Chinese Li Lu, the former Paralympic and world champion. Disappointment for Runnery just outside the medals. But this was a wonderful race from De Silva.
So this is the women's T47 category, and T47 is for arm impairment. And if you ever want to just experience how difficult it is to run using just one of your arms, all you have to do is next time you're on your jog, just stick one of your hands in a pocket and start running. We'll start jogging first, then try sprinting, but you'll see just how much you have to engage your core just to stay balanced. And we can see that the different athletes here will use different strategies. Some will run with an arm prosthesis, some won't. Actually, if you just see there, Lou, she doesn't have an arm prosthesis, but I think that perhaps what she's strapped on is just a weight. And again, that's just a way to even out the momentum, because at this point in the race, you just come to the halfway mark and you're coming around that bend and you know what awaits you. You know the home straight awaits you and you know you're gonna be full of lactic. What you want more than anything is just to keep as smooth a running stride as possible. And De Silva did an excellent job. You know, you can see the knees dropping, you know it hurts, and that is a point at which you have to actually, you dig deep by relaxing.
Gives new meaning to the phrase, just putting one foot after another, doesn't it? Because at that point, that's all you're thinking about, putting one foot after another and getting across the line. And that's exactly what De Silva did. She dropped to the ground. The Brazilians in the crowd are ecstatic. There's Gomez, who's already picked up gold medals himself here on the right of screen with the white headband on. And Brazil, as usual at Para-Athletics Championships, unearthing more potential as well as those who have already won medals in the past. Fernandinha De Silva, season best with gold. Li Lu, silver for her. And Augusto with a lifetime best, picking up a bronze medal. Brazil in the medal count are going well up. Augusto, 19 years of age. The sun shining on her in this one.
Absolutely gorgeous stadium. And when this is used as a football venue, by the way, had lunch with a football commentary friend of mine, the cameras are on the other side. All the other press facilities are here. Now we've got a fourth field event final about to get underway. It is the women's shot put F46. Decent field in this. And the return of Holly Robinson, who surprisingly missed out in the javelin. Saskia Sokolov didn't because she claimed the silver. So going through the field in this, we're going through Ashura Bakova of Algeria, Miriam Al-Hamidi of Bahrain. She does take up others quite a bit. Xi Gaiting of China, 10:31. This season, the 23-year-old Susanna Nahirnai of Brazil. Next up for South Africa, Juan Leroux. So it's a busy old campaign for Holly Robinson. It was a massive surprise, frankly, for her not to be in the top three in the javelin. Being Paralympic champion. Zhang Jiamin of China. Noel Nalkamaki of the United States. Rosa Yakonergasheva again for Uzbekistan. Will it be thumbs up at the end of tonight? Maybe. Avida Vainaskaite of Lithuania. Wang Tiantin of China. Miriam Al-Matrouchi of the United Arab Emirates, who brought a whole load of new names in for their hosted World Championships in 2019. Shanaida Rodriguez of Ecuador. Donna Longboot again from Papua New Guinea, who we saw earlier in the week. 8:44, her lifetime best this year. The world record held by Saito Yukiko of Japan, or Yukiko Saito. That was set in Makita City in 2015. And Saskia Sokolov has already gained 3 medals this week. 100, 200 javelin. What about the shot now? And how about this men's 400 meters? T47. Having seen the women campaign 10 minutes ago. Brazilian glory in that. Will it be Brazilian glory here? Starting in lane 1 from Indonesia, it's Nur Ferry Pradana. 7th in the 400 world final 4 years ago. Next up for Canada. 6th in the 400 final in the Paralympic Games, as he was in the Pan Am Games in Lima. Based in Alberta, Thomas Norman Doe. Championship debut for the 19-year-old, and he won his semi-final in 49.74. Jose Martins da Costa. There have been 5 European medals, 1 silver, the rest bronze for Riccardo Bagaini of Italy. He's in 4. Championship debut in 5 for a man 2nd in his heat, 20 years old, Dilip Mahadou Gavit. In lane 6 for Morocco, the reigning Paralympic champion, bronze in the 400 in the last Worlds, from Rabat, Ayub Sadni. In lane 7 for the United States, 4th in the Paralympic Games, silver in the long jump in the Pan Am's, Tanner Wright. And in lane 8 for Brazil, on the outside from Sao Paulo, 6th in the 100 final in the Paralympics in Tokyo, Lucas Lima. Ayub Sadni with the world record set in this stadium at the Grand Prix a year ago. Jose Martins' championship debut, so fast in the heats. Well, Martins at the age of 19, 49.06 his lifetime best this year, but Sadni can go faster than the Paralympic champion. Pradana 1, Norman Doe 2, Martins 3, Bagaini 4, Gavit 5, Sadni 6, Wright 7, D'Souza Lima 8. The final of the men's 400 meters, T47. So away they go, and a solid start from Sadni in 6, Wright in 7, and particularly Jose Martins in lane 3. He's caught up with Bagaini already. He's been a world championship silver medalist in the relay in 2017, but this is his first ever individual event. Martins flying right now, and Sadni 2 and 6. When they straighten up, this is looking like a really good battle between them. Norman Doe's trying to keep up as well. Sadni flying well in lane 6, and now the stag has been dealt with. It's Sadni out in front, and he is well out in front. Championship record in the heats, 47.53. His world record is 47.01. Tanner Wright's coming now for the United States in 2nd, but Sadni's in, and the world record is gone. Tanner Wright in 2nd place, and it looked to be Bagaini in 3rd. But Ayub Sadni has smashed his own world record from this track a year ago. 46.78, and the world records continue to fall here. Tanner Wright came good in the final 40 meters or so, but Ayub Sadni, who won bronze in the last World Championships 4 years back, being congratulated brilliantly by the Brazilian team. The Paralympic champion is now the world champion too. Lifetime best in 2nd and 3rd, for Wright and Martins, who edged out Bagaini in 4th, and the top 4 all of lifetime bests. Make that the top 5, but it's all about the top 1. Gold for Morocco, and Ayub Sadni with his new world record.
It is so rare that you'll find a track where we're seeing world records set for both the wheelchair racers and for the ambulant runners. And it's great to see both of them really happy. Now, at the start there, you will have seen a few different implements. This is a T47 category. It's the same as the one for the women that we saw beforehand. So we have an arm impairment. And the entire field will have seen Sadni go out. And it was great to see that Martins tried so hard to keep up. The thing is, it's always dangerous to be working off of someone else's pace and trying to chase them down, because it can come back to get you in the end. And you can see that was where Sadni really separated himself from the rest of the field. And again, just that excitement at the end as you see positions changing, and Wright did so well, actually. I think for a little bit of a surprise silver. Such a great pacing job from him.
And Martins just made it up in 3rd place. It was a great dip by Wright. He came good in the final 30 or so, and just look at that dip from Martins, edging out Bagaini and Gavit as well of India. A golden world record for Ayub Sadni. Just keeps getting faster and faster in this T47 category. Sadni the world record, the gold from Morocco, 46.78, the top 5 with lifetime best. Tanner Wright, the silver for the United States. Jose Martins, the bronze for Brazil. Where does it end with the world records here? It's the 4th last night. We've still got a long way to go. Still 7 sessions remaining. Beautiful evening.
Well, we go from the 400 to the 1500. This is the women's T20 final. Intellectual impairment category. There are 10 going in this, including the 3-time Paralympic champion and 4-time world champion, Barbara Biegnoska Zayak. You may remember her as Barbara Novitziel. That's her 2nd from the right as we look at it. Bernadette Biaxi, her sister Iona, is also going in this one. Bernadette won gold in London in 2017. Here is the great Barbara, 3-time Paralympic champion. Annabelle Coleman, 19 years of age in her first major championship. And Tania Carla da Silva at her major championship debut for Brazil. Yamamoto Moko, 25 years of age, also making a championship debut for her. And Hannah Taunton of Great Britain, who was bronze in Tokyo 2020, 5th in Dubai in 2019. Germany's Franziska Zias, 24 years of age, enjoying a major championship debut as well. American Caitlin Bounds was 8th in this event in 2017 in London. Ludmila Danilina, bronze medalist in 2016 in Rio, silver in 2020 in Tokyo. She's also won silver in 3 European Championships. Iona Baxi, bronze medalist in 2012 in London. Her only gold, Swansea in the European Championships in 2014. So 10 going in this field. 3 3/4 laps in this intellectual impairment category. The Brazilian moving out fast and to the lead, De Silva. Now this is an interesting category to T21 because it is an intellectual impairment, and sometimes it's all about pacing yourself, especially in a race like this. So you may see some runners who go out a little bit quick, they then have to pull back, and the timing of what they do can sometimes be an issue. So we'll watch that with interest as we go through. When they do come across the finishing line, they will have 3-4 laps to complete. You can see the experienced campaigner on the inside there, Agnieszka Zajac of Poland, who is a multiple gold medalist in both the Paralympic Games and World Championships. So she's going to go across in second. Hannah Staunton is also in there as well. Hannah Taunton, rather, looking very good. And De Silva of Brazil leads as they come around with around 300 metres remaining on this second lap.
You can see that De Silva wanted to run a race with a little bit of pace, and she's done a good job there of stretching out the field, and we have that group of 4, and it looks like actually Hannah Thompson is about to make her move. But you're right, to continue with our masterclass on classification, a T20 classification is an intellectual impairment that affects conceptual, social, and practical adaptive skills. Now, as an athlete and coach pairing for this event, it's one thing to sit down and to give your athlete a plan, but the athlete may have to adjust it on the fly during the race. You might have gone in expecting a strategic race, and then you suddenly find yourself in a time trial, and you have to be able to react and to adjust. And often in any 1500 meter race around the world, you will see coaches stationed around, just keeping an eye, just letting athletes know what the pace is, what things are going. And I mean, obviously it's going to be really hard in this stadium because it's really loud and I can barely hear you right now. But the athletes are going to have to adjust on the fly and react to what is going on in front of them.
Well, there's around 7 or 8 at the moment who are pretty much in a blanket throwing over them position is the best way to describe it. There's not really much to separate them, and Hannah Taunton there has almost clipped the back legs of De Silva of Brazil. She's just moved to the outside slightly to try and get a bit of room. Just look at the pole there, Agnieszka Zajac. She just knows exactly how to run in these races. She sits on the inside. She doesn't want anyone to get in front of her or box her in, so she's in a controlling position all the time, and she runs it with such enthusiasm and such willingness to make sure that at the end of it, she's in a position where she can put on a good sprint. So it is her who leads at the moment, and there's 5 out in front. The next block back just falling away somewhat, and Hannah Taunton of Great Britain is doing a very good job to sit in there. Bronze medalist in 2020, so she knows what it's like to medal. And there's a group of 4 or 5 there at the moment who look like they're going to be the ones as they come around for the bell to really kick at the end. De Silva making a bit of a run for it now. How do you see this, Steph?
Well, that lap slowed significantly. We started off at a 4:20 pace. That lap dropped to a 4:40, but it looks like now athletes are starting to get a little bit antsy. There was a lot of jostling for position there. Everybody knows this is the final lap, and where you are, who's going to make their move first, can you react? Positions really matter in this instance.
Well, Agnieszka Zajac has not moved at all from that position she's in. De Silva has gone forward, she's gone back. There's a group of 4 there, and Hannah Taunton is looking strong on the outside. Also in there is Danilina, the Ukrainian athlete who's taken bronze in 2016, silver in 20. Now the move is on. Agnieszka Zajac has decided it is time to go with around 200 metres to go. She does have a very good kick when it comes to the 1500 metres. She will explode and she will go, and if you don't stay with her, she'll get away from you, and that's exactly what she's doing now. De Silva doing her best to get to her, but it's not going to be enough. There's 100 metres left to go, and Barbara Agnieszka Zajac, formerly individual, it doesn't matter. She rolls back the years. She's an experienced campaigner. She's got a wonderful stride on her, and she's going to go across and take the gold medal. Let's just have a look at the time. She does hold that record. 4:28.67 is the time. She is just 0.09 or so outside her own championship record. So she doesn't break that, but she does take the victory. De Silva goes across and picks up a silver medal as the rest of the field come in. But that was quite some run from Barbara Biegnovska-Zajac. 4:28.67, unofficial time. Just waiting for it to be ratified. But she did run a supreme race, as did De Silva. There is the pole celebrating yet another major championship win. This, her 5th consecutive World Championship gold. De Silva with a new South American record, 4:30.75 for her. So that lady there, the gold medalist, she is an absolute freak of nature when it comes to these T20 races. She saved herself for the 1500. Polska indeed. Biegnovska-Zajac indeed. Danilina held on to pick up the bronze medal, just holding off Hannah Taunton. So a season best for the Ukraine, Danilina. But a season best for that lady there.
Biegnovska-Zajac timed that so well. I like what she did in the fact that she was more than happy to let De Silva run that early pace. She just sat tucked in right on the inside, didn't want to bother with running any extra distance, and she knew exactly when it was time to pounce.
Great scenes at the end there with Danilina as well, the Ukrainian who picked up bronze. But right from the beginning, you see Biegnovska-Zajac, she started second from inside, so that's fair enough. So she stayed in that position the whole way. She didn't deviate one bit whatsoever. De Silva went forward slightly, she went back. Hannah Taunton on the outside. Danilina there in number 9 on the shorts, sitting in 3rd position there. It was a race in 4 for quite a distance towards the end, and that lady there, you can just see her, how calm, how relaxed she looks, and she is a supreme athlete over these distances.
I mean, I ran out of room just trying to write down all her championships, but she was more than happy to follow the pacing of someone else, and then when she wanted to take control of that race, she went for it. But the real battle, and you can see there was Taunton and Danilina, they did connect a little bit, and it did force Hannah just a little bit of a break in her speed, and she had to move out wide, and it did really come down to the wire for that third position. But you know, jostling and maneuvering bodies, that is part of it when it comes to the 1500 meters.
Well, she turns 42 on the 1st of September. I don't suspect she's going to be hanging up the running spikes anytime soon. I do believe we will see her back here in Paris next year, without a doubt indeed. She is a wonderful athlete, a wonderful competitor, and those are great scenes to see. De Silva picking up the silver for Brazil, overwhelmed with emotion after what she's done there, setting a new area record. Danilina of Ukraine, a season best for her. But the queen again is Barbara Biegnovska-Zajac with a 5th consecutive gold medal in the World Championships.
The big finals continue in Paris. The women's 200 meters, T38, coordination impairment. The world record holder is here, and she is the reigning world champion. It's Sophie Hahn looking for her 3rd 200 meters world title in a row. She's the 7-time world champion, the reigning 100 meters world champion. Hahn is in 1. In lane 2 for Finland, championship debut, 5th in the long jump for Vilma Berg. In lane 3 for Australia, bronze in the 100 and the 200 in the last World Championships in Dubai. Medals in the 100 in the last 2 Commonwealth Games. Rhiannon Clark. In lane 4 for Hungary, the reigning European World and Paralympic long jump champion. Silver in the 1 here already, gold in the long jump. It's Luca Eckler. In lane 5 for Australia, bronze in the 4x1 in the 2016 Paralympic Games. It's Ella Pardy. In lane 6 for Colombia, the new world 100 meters champion, Darian Jimenez. In lane 7 for Belgium, It's a championship debut for the neuroscientist from Birmingham. It's Katia Hardis. And in lane 8 for Colombia, 6th in the 400 final at the Tokyo Paralympics, it's Katy Hurtado. Sophie Hahn, the defending champion. At the previous 4 World Championships, she has claimed gold. And in the previous 6 Global Championships. Hahn on the inside in 1. The reigning European champion as well. And the world record set in winning this title 4 years ago in Dubai. Hahn in 1, Berg 2, Clark 3, Eckler 4, Party 5, Jimenez 6, Hardy 7, Hurtado 8. The final of the women's 200 meters, T38. Now they just have to reset. Hurtado was allowed a standing start for a lot of it, was moving on down there, a little bit unsettling, which it will be for everybody. The tension can rise. And Sophie Hahn, bronze in the 100 meters. Jimenez, bronze in that. Jimenez was coming out there. I don't think that's going to go down as a full start, more a faulty start. Everybody will be okay. Jimenez, the 23-year-old, having claimed the 100 already. So as they reset, it's Hahn in 1, Berg 2, Clark 3, Eckler 4, Party 5, Jimenez 6, Hardy 7, Hurtado 8. They're underway in this women's 200 meters T38 final. Hahn away well and Jimenez away brilliantly. This is going to be a big one when they straighten up, and Eckler's going well as well. It's Sophie Hahn on the inside. It's Eckler and it's Jimenez. Eckler coming right down the middle for Hungary. Jimenez trying to fight back, and Hahn too. It could be Luca Eckler's moment, and it is. Eckler, Jimenez, Hahn the 1, 2, 3, and the world record's been demolished. 25.80. It's her first 200 meters win anywhere in a championship. The Budapest school teacher, inspired by the Biaxi sisters, who she saw on TV in the 2017 Worlds, has come to Paris and walked away with the gold and the world record of Sophie Hahn, who gets the bronze. Jimenez and America's record with the silver. But Luca Eckler, who did a golden double in the 400 and the long jump in the Europeans in Bydgoszcz 2 years ago, does it for the first time globally. She's won 3 long jump golds between the Paralympics and the World Championships. And Luca Eckler's big time in the track is here, and it is now.
We just keep seeing the world records fall on this track. And just a note on the lanes, just in case you were wondering why Sophie Hahn, who was now the former world record holder, was starting in lane 1, which is, you would normally see the faster runners in the middle. It was just because Sophie Hahn didn't actually have a season's best yet for this year, and this was a straight final. And so when that happens, then the seedings are a little bit different. But you can see her there shooting off like an absolute rocket. Sophie did say it has been a hard year for her, so it's great to see that she is back into what I would say vintage Sophie sprinting form, and she put herself in position for that 100. But we just saw Luca Eckler come into her own. We know that Luca Eckler is a fantastic 400-meter runner, and that just really, really helps on that final 50 of the 200 as she just streaks away and gets a little bit of separation for her.
What a moment for Luca Eckler. Her first track gold medal. She'd won silver in the 100 here, silver in the 1 and the 2 in Dubai, and a new world record for Luca Eckler. A great moment for Hungary. for parasport in the country. And you know what? There's somebody back home will be watching her on TV saying, I want to do that. And one day they will. Today is her day. Luca Eckler, world record, 25.78. Jimenez gets the silver and Hahn the bronze.
Well, there has been a disqualification as well in the earlier race in the women's 400 metres T47. Thailand's Inthakot has been disqualified for running outside of her lane.
Well, that promotes the Hungarian Petra Lutheran up to 7th spot, who, as we've been saying this week, is making her debut as a para-athlete, having been involved in a car accident right at the end of last year. What a woman to learn from, eh? Luca Eckler, what a star, what a champion. We'll just go back to that previous race, though.
So here's the disqualification. It is Bagani for a lane infringement. Going outside her lane.
Now, he finished 4th in that final. He was just outside the medals. So what that means is that Gavit is moved up into 4th spot. Sadney, Wright, Martins, the medalists are all okay. And you got the news as well about the other disqualification as well. So Sadney, Wright, Martins remains the 1, 2, 3, but Ricardo Bagani disqualified.
T47 is not the place to be then for lane infringements this evening, both the women's and the men's.
This man's always all right. It is Marcus Reim, 8.27 in round 1. That's not very far away in round 3. He did no jump in the second round. His colleague Baudelaire is surviving in the competition in 8th spot. But in terms of the medals, we know where the gold is going. It's just about how far he can go.
What you can actually see, in addition to the board here, is you can see the compression on the blade. And the way that the blades work is they're made of carbon fiber. And the way that it's laid, it actually mimics the action of a foot and ankle in terms of the way that it stores energy. And you can see that once you learn to use the blade as a part of your body and learn the rhythm, and Marcus Rem is the absolute master of this. I actually feel really nervous right now critiquing his jump. That's when you can really learn to soar. And we've seen in the competition a few of the athletes have taken off and not quite control the rotation and the direction, and you have to have unbelievable hip strength to do that.
8.27 for the second time. He stays well in the lead, USA 234.
Women's 100 metres T12, the opening heat of 4. Medium visual impairment. Athletes can opt to run with a guide or without in this category. Evelina Kristina Cretu of Moldova has opted to run by herself without a guide. She's also a para swimmer. Been in the 100 metres here, making her major championship debut at these Worlds. Gomez of Brazil, 25 years of age, will run with a guide, lifetime best this year of 12.25. Folgado Garcia, European champion in this 100 metres event, and Oliveira, 31 years of age, will go from lane 8. So 4 to go. It is just first who goes through to the semi-finals. World record and championship record holder Amara Durand will go in heat number 4. Cretu in 1, Gomez in 3, Folgado Garcia in 5, and Oliveira in lane 7. 3 of the athletes opting to run with guides, 1 without, and it is those who are running with guides who are running very fast indeed. It is Gomez of Brazil who's going to take it just ahead of Folgado Garcia. I thought for one shaky moment then that she might have fallen, but it was the guide who just released her across the line, the Spaniard in second place. But it is Gomez of Brazil on a major championship debut who looked very strong indeed. And Brazil, a great para-athletic nation, wonderful para-sport nation, full stop. 12:65 is the time for Gomez there. So she'll advance through to the semi-finals, and Folgado Garcia coming in 12:74, a season best for her. But Gomez looking real good indeed.
I mean, we've been admiring the teamwork and synchronicity and power of these partnerships all week long. And once again, we see an incredible example across the board. Now, we did just see the women's T38, and the difference at the start here is that the starting information system is turned on, which means that the pressure plates are turned on, which means that it's not up to the starting judge to observe it. It simply comes up in terms of numbers, and that's why they take so much time and care in terms of getting the athlete settled, because a false start means that you are out. And again, just to be able to time up and come out of those blocks together, and remembering that you are working on the edge of your limit right now. You're throwing all of your power and strength into this. And unfortunately, we did see what happens when it can go wrong with Salvatini in the T11 final last night. When it goes well, it looks beautiful, but when it goes wrong and you crash to the ground, that is when you understand the sobering reality of what it's like to run with someone else.
It's exhausting watching it at times because it is such hard work, it looks like, but they make it look so easy. So there we go. Gomez goes through as the automatic qualifier. Season best for Folgado Garcia. She'll hope to go through as one of those 4 fastest losers to the semi-finals. And the wind seems to have died down somewhat as well, just plus 0.1 there in that 100 metres, so it has changed around and has dropped significantly.
It's a track that's been advantageous to so many here. Marcus Reim leading the final of the men's T64 long jump, 8:27 twice he's done. This is Jared Wallace lying in second place, the former world 200 meters champion going back to 2017, and who skipped the Para Pan Ams in Toronto because there was an arrival in the family. Perfect reason. So 7:32, he's only a centimetre off Trenton Merrill. If he gets 7:33, he goes into bronze on countback. What can he produce? Get the run up right. I think he's done the board brilliantly. That's a nice effort. A huge wave of sand flying up. And Wallace looking to break into the medals here.
Now, if you are a longtime para-athletics fan, you're probably more used to seeing Jared Wallace at the start of 100 meters instead of a long jump, but we have drawn him over to the dark side. And he has confirmed he is loving it. And it was always an exciting prospect to see because we know that he is an amazing sprinter. And so what can you do when you add a takeoff to the end of that? And he's done so well to transition. You can see there he's already got the great form in terms of keeping the feet up. And with the blades, you can see how they kind of, with that shape, they hang back a little bit. You have to do a little bit of extra work to keep it up. And he is missing a lot of distance on that. And he will want to get onto the board again just because you get a stronger connection and pop off that board.
7:27 it is. Wallace stays in 4th position. Trenton Merrill in the bronze medal position for the moment. Bronze of the Paralympic Games, the reigning Pan Am champion. Wallace was into a headwind for his attempt a few moments ago. Oh, that looks to be perfect on the board again, I have to say. His first attempt, his best one at 7:33. And basically, the main battle for silver and bronze is solely an American joust.
Which will be interesting because they are very familiar with each other. They both spend quite a lot of time training at Chula Vista in San Diego. And so they're both training partners, and then you come here and then you're competitors.
Excellent stride. 6:55, he stays in the bronze medal position. L'Occident 6 centimeters ahead.
Amatrushi in 12th position at present. Out near the 9 metre mark, that one. This is the F46, and here is Noelle Malkamaki, her second attempt from Decatur, Illinois. Well, that looks like a very big mark.
Just for reference, the women in this category throw a 4 kilogram shot, which is the same as the able-bodied Olympic women's weight.
Well, what is that mark? 13:02. That is a new world record in the F46 category, beating the mark set by Saito Yukiko back in July 2015 in Tokyo. It's taken 8 years, but the record is gone. It's gone to Malkamaki, who leads after 3 rounds.
Sensational stuff. The world records are flying in Paris tonight as the helicopters and the army planes were earlier in the national holiday. They'd big procession up the Champs-Élysées. And in about 3 hours' time, the big light show, the fireworks around the Eiffel Tower. We're hoping for fireworks now in this heat. It's the Lunella siblings, Ida and Henrik, 4th in the 1, bronze in the 4 in the Euros 2 years ago. Katrin Muller-Rothgart, the 2003 double champion over 200 and 400 in her 8th World Championship. She's in 3. In lane 5, it's the former European champion in 2016, Melanie Berges. And in lane 7, the European bronze medalist over 100 in Bydgoszcz 2 years ago, Sara Urucho. Lunella, bronze in the 4 in the Europeans. Muller-Rothgart, the former world champion who won her first Paralympic medal in Rio. Melanie Berges has been European champion. Urucho, European bronze medalist. This is a really nice, strong field. It is 21 years in Lille since Katrin Muller-Rothgart was in her first World Championships, and she is still going very strong. It's Ida Lunella and Henrik Lunella in 1, Katrin Muller-Rothgart and Noel Philip Fiener in 3, Melanie Berges Games and Sergio Diaz del Campo in 5, and Sara Urucho and Anna Souza in 7. It's only the winner to go through in the next 4. Melanie Berges is well in the hunt, and Katrin Muller-Rothgart as well. Muller-Rothgart and Berges. It's going to be Muller-Rothgart to take it. Berges in 2nd. And tight for 3rd. But there's no doubting about the win for Katrin Muller-Rothgart. And the field that she's been in. A championship athlete now in her 23rd year. And she comes through with a time that's barely a 1/3 of a second off her lifetime best. She's as good as ever.
Well, Melanie Berges and her partner got off to a great start, head down driving, but then it was Muller-Rothgart who just got into her own. Right about now is when she starts separating. And as you can see at the end, the guide has to ensure that the athlete crosses the line first. However, at the same time, there are judges that are watching to ensure that the guide is not flinging the athlete across, because that can also lead to a disqualification.
Nice start by Melanie Berges. All 4 in this have had their periods of really good international championship success, but Katrin Muller-Rothgart is into the semi-final. 4 heats in this. Next 4 qualifying as well. Katrin Muller-Rothgart is safe. 12:39 for that. And despite all the successes from Melanie Berges, not a lifetime best for a 12:58. Urucho in 3rd, and Lunella in 4th place. Beautiful night on the French National Day. And here is the German national hero.
So Marcus Rehm goes in jump number 4. 8:27 with his first. 8:27 with his third. A foul in between. He just hangs in the air, doesn't he?
You know you've jumped well when you're watching a jumper, and
It's
it just
mesmerizing.
looks like gravity has just stopped applying to him.
And he's always so consistent with where he is on the board as well. Always consistent. The run-up is always strong. And he always looks like he's going to hit the same mark every single time.
He is just the perfect technician.
So Marcus Rehm with an 8:27 first up, a foul, an 8:27 with his third. That one there, 8:25. So he's still some distance ahead in first position, but it's Marcus Rehm who's going against the tape measure, isn't it? To see how far he can go. Now, we mentioned Berlin back in 2018 when Will and I were there. I honestly thought he was going to jump out of the pit that day. It was quite disturbing in a way, but mesmerising in another way. Cicchetti now to try and make up some ground. He sits in 7th position. Best so far is 6:58 for the Italian. So the pit will be made to look like a completely flat surface without any marks on it whatsoever before the athlete can go. And just run us through, Steph, what they are.
So before the athletes have taken to the pit, they've actually been out on the track for about 30 to 40 minutes, and they're given time to set up their runway, because even though, you know, yes, the track is a track and it's the same everywhere, every runway is actually different, and every runway feels different. And as we've seen today, yes, you will have had a certain distance that you've been practicing your jumping from, but if we have a wind that's in your face or behind you, you have to adjust. And so you have to use those 30 minutes well to prepare yourself for the next 6 jumps.
Now, there is one big name missing from this competition, Dimitri Pavard, who isn't competing in this men's long jump T64. His picture is all over the city. We'll explain why we think he might not be in it in just a moment.
Now this is a mixed category T64. Even though it's labeled a T64, you are eligible to compete if you are a T44, a T62, or a T64. Don't worry, I'm going to explain all of that. A T44 is an athlete who has a single below knee impairment but doesn't compete with a blade, as we can see Cicchetti there. Now a T62 has 2 single below knee blades, and a T64 has a single below knee blade. Now ideally everybody would be competing in exactly their class, but in the end you also have to consider the logistics of it, and just making sure that we have big competitive fields. And wow, he was excellent on the board there. You can see the plasticine. If you make a mark in that plasticine, and they can check afterwards, then it is deemed a foul, and I don't think you can get any closer than what he just did.
Well, 6:49 is the mark, and Malakopoulos of Greece is just lining up. But we saw Dimitri Pavard, didn't we, in the early days, just before the competition was starting?
We did. We saw him in the hotel, and he was using crutches and wasn't using his leg. And I don't know why, but in the past I've been on crutches when I've had a pressure sore or a blister, which can sometimes happen on your stump, especially when you're a runner and sprinter, just because of the forces that go through your stump and the rubbing on the skin. And it's really, really unfortunate, and it's so frustrating. But sometimes it is just a part of being a leg amputee.
Well, it is unfortunate that Dimitri Pavard is not in this competition, but this man is. Stylianos Malakopoulos of Greece. Now, he's a T62 athlete, and he has a championship record already in this from his last jump, which was 6:89. So despite the fact he's in 5th position, he does hold the championship record now in the T62 category, what Steph was talking about with a combination. And he looks like he might have caught himself a mischief then when he's fouled.
Yes, he doesn't look very happy there with his leg, and again, this is one of the challenges. So the way that the legs are held on, you can see Marcus has already gone over just to check to see if he's okay, but the way that the legs are held on is through a vacuum suction seal system, and if you lose that, you lose your connection, and this is so typical of Marcus. I've seen him on so many occasions. He'll be competing in his own race, or sorry, in the long jump, and he will spend his rest time adjusting the legs of other athletes because he's also a very good prosthetist.
Yeah, there's 2 or 3 of them who have actually gone over to help Malakopoulos. We'll come back to that in a moment, but we're back to the track and what is the third heat in the women's 100 metres T12. 3 will go in this one, medium visual impairment. Alejandra Perez-Lopez. Now, her sister Linda, who withdrew ahead of the 400 and doesn't compete in this, is the reigning Paralympic champion at this distance. Simran of India, 23 years of age, major championship debut, goes in 5. And Gara Fuentes Perez of Spain, 19 years of age, and her major championship debut will go out in lane 7. Just to remind you, Tony, the winner of each heat that will go through to the semi-finals. This heat 3 of 4, Amara Duran, the world and championship record holder, will go in the final heat in around 10 minutes' time. So Perez-Lopez on the inside has a silver in the 400 already behind Amara Duran at these championships. And they get away very well. It is Perez-Lopez who breaks quickest of all. And the Indian athlete Simran is really struggling with her guys in the middle, trying to get that synchronicity. Perez-Lopez goes across there in a time of 12:46. And Simran goes across in 3rd place there. There was a real issue with her and her guide as they got about 30 metres into the race. No issues with that lady though, the Venezuelan. She went across and she'll be looking to add to that silver in the 400 metres when she goes in the semi-final. I think there's an injury there for Simran. So she certainly looks like she might have pulled a muscle a very short distance into the race, and her guide, it looked like they'd almost lost the tether, but we'll get a replay on that and just see. Fuentes Perez a lifetime best in 2nd in 13:31, but Simran, well, these things happen in sport. Let's have a look. Yeah, she looks like she's actually pulled up with a muscular injury there, and then the tether came loose at that stage, and it all went pear-shaped. She did finish the race, but I'm not even sure if the guy went across before her there, so either way it might be a disqualification. But let's just have a look. She's on the left of the screen here. Heavily strapped left leg.
It looks to me like she actually released herself. She knew that her leg didn't feel right, and it's actually quite dangerous for her to stay tethered to her guide at that speed if she's not able to match that. So she did exactly what she needed to do, and it's so unfortunate. It's so heartbreaking as an athlete to see that, and you can tell she has that leg heavily strapped. She clearly knew that there was a little bit of an issue going into that race, but for Perez-Lopez and her guide, that qualification was exactly what you want. You want it to be just simple and straightforward and straight on to the next round.
Well, she's limping out of the stadium now, down past the interview area, and she is really struggling. Is Simran, the young Indian. We won't be seeing her again at these championships. That's a quite painful injury with her strapped left leg. There she is there, just being assisted out. She looks like she's in a real lot of pain. It was strapped her leg before she went into the race, so there was clearly an issue. It will be a disqualification because she was released and she wasn't tethered at the end. So as it is, it's Perez-Lopez who takes it in a season best time in 12:46, and Gara Fuentes Perez, a lifetime best for her of Spain, 13:31, will hope to go through to the semi-finals as a fastest loser. Load still happening though. Shot put happening. F46 ongoing. We've already seen a world record. We've seen loads of world records, as a matter of fact, across these championships.
So Noel Malkamaki has already gone out to 13:02 today, looking for more, and that is surely precisely what she's delivered. What an awesome throw on a championship debut. 12:63 was a lifetime best, an able-bodied competition this year. That in its own right would have been a world record. She's gone way beyond that tonight. She's gone way beyond 13 meters, surely. Holly Robinson in second with Rosciani, a record 11:59. And Malkamaki, 13 meters 25, a world record again, and surely on her way to gold for the United States. Holly Robinson in second place in New Zealand, 11:59 at present, and it is Saito of Japan in third place, and that's at the end of round 4. All of these 8 are now spectators like the rest of us. But this is a tremendous start for the 22-year-old.
What's so exciting about this event as well is that we had 16 competitors in that from 15 different countries, and to start seeing those kind of truly global finals is another sign of the evolution of this sport.
So this is the previous race, the third heat in the women's 100 metres T12 medium visual impairment. Season best for Perez Lopez, who qualifies to the semis. Fuentes Perez, a lifetime best for her. She waits to see if she goes through. Simran, unfortunately with that injury and the tether releasing from her guide, disqualified.
A man always capable of getting things loud, leading the long jump. Here's Merrill, 7:33, still in the bronze medal position. The Pan Am champion hanging on for now and holding off his teammate, Jared Wallace.
People always ask the question, how do you decide which leg to jump off of? And I remember way back at the beginning, around about 2000, you would see a lot of athletes taking off of their real foot, and then the trend switched and athletes were taking off of their blades. And there's a few reasons for that. And one that I always found quite funny is that one of the most common long jump injuries is a stress fracture in your takeoff foot. And you're not going to have that issue when you're using a blade. That's kind of a bonus. But I've always found one of the other really important reasons why is because as important as your takeoff is, it's actually the penultimate stride, the second to last stride, that really sets up your jump. And that is where you transition your speed into your horizontal distance, and you need to be able to have feeling in your foot to set it up.
Merrill, 6:77, does not progress.
The other reason why, sorry, I'm giving you guys a physics lesson, but when the long jump leg itself, the blade is actually set up a little bit longer, and that's because it compresses when you jump. So if you try to do a penultimate stride on a leg that's longer, that makes it really difficult.
Derek Luxuden, 7:39, penultimate attempt, trying to get even further out. He is still playing American football as a linebacker for the University of Central Oklahoma, despite an accident 5 years ago, which is some going.
I would not want to tackle Luxuden with that leg on. In terms of the blades themselves, all of the blades come with what, I guess the best way to describe it is almost like a sweet spot. There's a spot on the blade that you want to hit every time that you jump. That's the place that you get the maximum release, the maximum energy storage. And as an athlete, you have to learn where that is, because this is a part of your body that you can't actually feel, and it's just through experience with the leg. It's kind of like a relationship.
7:17, Luxuden does not get any closer to terrain, but the way it is right now, nobody's going to do that.
Hold that thought on the blade, because I have another question for you when we get a moment after this race.
From one all-time great to another, Amara Duran has absolutely dominated this women's 100 meters for years and years. Amara Duran, the 8-time Paralympic, now 12-time world champion after claiming that 400 meters here this week. She hasn't been beaten in a championship race since 2008. In lane 5, the Southeast Asian Games champion over 100 and 200 last month in Cambodia, Ni Mada Ariante Putri, and in lane 7, Laya Impinge Adunem. That's what she did in the 400 meters. She impinged, she was disqualified, unfortunately. Well, Durand is in a class of her own, T13 for a long time, T12 now, which is more severe visual impairment. Putri, silver in the 100 in the last Asian Games in Jakarta 5 years ago. They've waited a long time for the next one. Durand never has to wait long for medals, and usually they come in threes. The last 2 Paralympic Games, the last 3 World Championships. She's a third of the way there already here. Durand in 3, Putri 5, and Pingy 7. Well, they're away, and Amara Durand is away, and well clear. The world record holder, the championship record holder, and she has won it. 11.78, Putri in second place, and Pingy in third. And when Amara Durand is on the track, it's a race for second and nothing else. Durand has taken that 11.78, and that by over half a second is by far the fastest time we've had in these first round heats. She's into the semi-final. Winner going through to that, plus the next 4. Putri's almost smiling. I'm sure it's not a smile, really. Her guide's helping her along. I hope he didn't help her along too long. I've a slight suspicion about Putri in second, but Durand, winner all right.
I mean, that was just a stunning run. I'm going to let that picture speak for itself. But just to pick up on what you were saying earlier, Will, yes, Amara Durand was a T13. And it's not that she was put in the wrong classification. One moment, we're watching Marcus Rem run.
Well, here's Marcus Rem live. And that is a huge jump from Marcus Rem. He already leads in this long jump final. .827 is what he's already jumped. The question is, what is this? Well, he has improved it. 8:49 is the new mark it's got up to. Championship record, breaking his own mark that he set in Doha back in 2015.
You could see after his other jumps at 8:27, he was not happy, and that's because his personal best from this year is 8.72 meters. He knows that's what he's capable of. And when you ask him about what the difference is, what happens when you nail a jump, or actually when I asked him the question because I wanted to learn from the expert, he said the difference for him, it comes down to this moment right here, how you nail the jump, whether or not you're in that sweet spot. And the key to jumping well as a blade jumper is learning how to hit that sweet spot as often as possible.
Well, that world record he set was in Germany just last month. 8 years ago, he set the championship record. He's just broken it. 8:49. He's gone up 9 centimeters from that mark he set in Doha at the Worlds back in 2015. He is quite some athlete. And he still has time to make it even longer.
Well, that's what the crowd have come to see, and they have seen him break a record. It's the championship record, and he's got 1 leap to go. He started to think of Berlin and 5 years ago.
Let me ask you quickly about blades. How long does it take to feel comfortable with a blade when you first put one on?
Well, see, I had this issue. He's smiling, he's happy. Oh, a little
He's
bit.
the man.
I always found anytime I got a new blade, it didn't matter what it was, I hated it. And I hated it because it doesn't feel like you, it doesn't feel normal. And my prosthetist, Richard, eventually worked out, you know, he was confident enough to say, actually, Stephanie, I'm going to disregard how you feel right now and just say, just take that away for 2 to 3 weeks and see how you feel. I would come back, I would love it, and I would then hate the old one.
So Amara Durand goes through 11.78 over a second clear of Putri with a lifetime best in second. Impingi, lifetime best in third. And the good news is they all go through. I thought Putri's guide might have just gone ahead of her, but thankfully for her, not.
Let me take you all the way back to the beginning then, the first time you ever had to wear a blade. Think about that one while we get back to the long jump and why this jump is taking place. You can have a little think about it and give us your answer afterwards.
Noah Baudelaire has only really had one effective jump out of the 5 so far. He's in 8th position. He's a 675 man normally. That will put him a bit up the rankings. He'd be a little bit away from the medals, but still, it's been a very welcome experience for Baudelaire tonight.
But you can see in his jump, he has all the components there, and I mean, his teammate is Marcus Frem. There's no better teammate than that, and he will continue to develop. But I was actually just thinking in my head the first time I used a blade. I was in an accident, and so I had run, not in athletics, but in rugby before, and I remember just the joy of being able to run again and how natural it actually felt.
Baudelaire, I should point out, it's his championship debut. He's 20, and Marcus Rave is a big fan.
You can see he is just as excited when someone else jumps big and does their personal best as he is when he sets his own world records.
That's because he knows he can't lose.
Do you know what? It must be nice having that kind of buffer. I never got to enjoy that.
He could foul.
That's true.
All the way through. So he could have 3 fouls and he could go out. We've seen athletes with 2 and then have to make a mark on their 3rd one. So it is possible.
Well, even on his 3rd one, he could literally jog it and still get a great jump.
Even the Superman Blade Runner might have a bad day one day. We'll see. Cicchetti of Italy with his final jump, 6.58. He's in 7th position.
It is a belting crowd, one of the biggest of the week. So much of this home straight full. Cicchetti, 6th in the Paralympics, an improvement needed to reach that. He was close to the plasticine, but it's a fair jump, and that's good news to him. That's a really good consistent set of marks as well.
He does a great job there of just generating quite a lot of speed on the runway. But what I really love is again, he just finishes off. He has so much awareness in the air. He finishes off with, you can see it just there, that great kick out of his heels, just ensuring that those feet are up and he's not losing any, there's the kick. He's not losing any distance on that measurement.
Plum on the board. I can tell you, by the way, that Malakopoulos of Greece has retired from the competition. He's only had 2 successful marks. Championship record for him in the 262. He is also formerly coached by Steffi Nereus, who looks after Marcus Rame, the 2009 World Javelin champion. In her last championship, it was her big hurrah, her big farewell, and she took the gold.
First of 3 semi-finals in the men's 100 metres T11 complete visual impairment category. There were 4 due to go in this. There now will be 3. George Kwarku of Canada has withdrawn. So there'll only be 3 to go in this one. Busy day for the T11s. The heats earlier this morning. That man winning his, Gerard Descarrega. Already won silver in the 400 here. Marcel Böttger disqualified in the 2020 Paralympic Games in his heat. And Yi Tao, the 25-year-old, his major championship debut, will go in lane 7. Lucas Prado, the championship record holder and world champion, not at these championships. I suspect, though, it won't stop Brazil from doing pretty well over the course of the next couple of semi-finals with their athletes they have. First automatically advances to the final. Then after the 3 semi-finals, the fastest loser will go through. The reason there are only 4 in each race maximum is because the athletes need 2 lanes. They have to have, it is compulsory to have a guide at this level, the T11 complete visual impairment. And Steph Reed, it will take a little bit of time for them to get ready.
As you can see, the guide is responsible for setting out both the athlete and themselves, and often they take time just to orient the athlete, make sure that they know which direction that they're in. Sometimes they feel the blocks and touch them, and once they're settled, they have to stay still because the starting information system is turned on, and any twitch, any pressure on the block before the gun will register as a false start.
Well, they've been asked to stand up. I think out in lane 7, Yi Tao was getting a bit ready before everyone else and was almost set to go. So the green card has come out. No issues with it. And that's an example of what happens in the T11. Now, Bertiger has followed up after his guide has stood. If you just watch out here, you can see that the Chinese athlete Yi was actually very quick to go up before his guide as well. So there's a few little pieces that have to be ironed out, and a lot of practice would go into this, and that is the reason why the crowd are asked for complete silence when it comes to the T11 complete visual impairment, because the athletes need to be sorted with their guides. In the background you can see on the big board there, compelling the crowd for silence before the race as the athlete and guide sort themselves out. Have a quick conversation to make sure the fingers are in position, their feet are in position, their thumbs and fingers are set there, and the tether is also set. This time they do get away, and it is on the inside Descarrega who is fastest of all, and Bertiger is moving very quickly in the middle, but it is Descarrega who's going to take it in a time of 11.24 seconds. He'll automatically go through. Bertiger just getting in ahead of Yi in second position. We'll now have to wait and see if he's one of those fastest losers to go through. Just the one over the course of the 3 semi-finals will make it as the fastest loser. Lifetime best of 11.24 for Descarrega. So wonderful heat in the morning, brilliant semi-final in the evening. Not much more you can ask for there.
I think what I really liked about that race was I've been noticing a lot, obviously, the synchronicity that you see when they're in full flow, but that just really showed the synchronicity that has to start even before the gun goes. They have to rise into position at the same time, but just imagine what it would take to coordinate the same sort of reaction time with someone. I mean, it's just incredible.
Yeah, that's a really good point, because the athlete, you saw Yi on the outside earlier, stand up before the guide, and if you don't know that you're going to go at the same time, your tether will come loose, you may run out of your lane, you'll lose that synchronicity straight away. So there is a load of practice that is unseen by the general public between athlete and guide that goes into this. And I've said it before and I'll say it again, if you're not sure about this, find a nice wide open area where you're not going to injure yourself, blindfold yourself and try and run with someone down a field and see how you go. Not being able to see a thing, and to make sure with these athletes they have patches put across their face as well before the actual mask. And there's the disappointment for Marcel Bertiger after he realised he missed out on an automatic qualification. Now he may still get through. 11.40, smiles all round though for that man. Gerard Descarrega on the right with his guide Jose Maria Marvizon, because they are through to the final after a lifetime best 11.24 seconds into a slight headwind as well. 2 more to go, and we still have field action happening as well. Trenton Merrill in the men's long jump, T64.
He's just been knocked down by a centimetre by Jared Wallace, having been ahead by a centimetre for so long, and that I think has gone into the plasticine. And Merrill will have been knocked out of the medals, and he has been right at the end, agonizingly. And Jared Wallace, a sprinter his whole career, has denied the Para-Pan Am champion a world medal. It is USA 2, 3 and 4, but Trenton Merrill is the odd man out. No medal for him this time.
We've seen this happen in the 6th round in so many different jumps, and it's such a hard balance because he goes in knowing that he's just been pipped to bronze, and he has to give it everything that he has, and you're constantly living on this knife edge of going for it and yet trying not to foul, and unfortunately it just didn't work out on that occasion. And again, he and his coach will have had a conversation about how to set up the runway, how to make it as aggressive as possible without stepping over the line. And it just shows how difficult it is to do.
Merrill was 7:33 for so long, and Wallace on 7:32. But Wallace found that extra 2 centimeters right at the end. The silver medalist is Derek Loxodent. What a championship debut. Silver in the long jump. 7:39. This to wrap up. It's a nice distance from him too. He's a 760 man this year, originally from Florida. And a debut that he is not going to forget for a while. He's a world championship silver medalist, and right now taking away the ultimate best around. Loxodent is next in the queue. Again, it's around 7 meters.
The thing is, when you watch Loxodent run, you can just see how even his hips are, and you actually would have no idea that he is an amputee if you just looked from the top. And the thing is, with that jump, I mean, he knows he still has a way off to get to rim, but this really is a freedom jump. You know that you have the silver medal secure, and it's just a chance to let loose and see what you are capable of.
So USA, silver and bronze, job done. Loxodent and Wallace pick up their first long jump medals in their careers.
We've seen this a lot in the men's T64 category. The 100-meter final was not what we expected. We've now seen some new people enter the podium onto the long jump. It just shows the excitement of the sport and how great it's going to be again in a year's time.
Marcus Rame is stepping away because there's a wait for him to come, because the next action is going to be the men's 100 meters T11, and that means complete visual impairment, and that means complete silence, please. So the Asian World and Paralympic champion is in this, the 400 European champion as well. We start off with Namibia's championship debutant. Semi-final in the 400 for Chris Kinda and his guide Rivaldo Goagoseb. In lane 3, the long jump world champion now, Asian champion, world champion, Paralympic champion in that, Di Dong Dong and his guide Liang Xiajiang. In lane 5 for France, the former world champion in 2019, he's the reigning 400 champion in that, going into these games, the reigning European champion, the former European 100 champion Timothy Adolphe and his guide Charles Reynard. And in lane 7, bronze in the 400 in the last Europeans in Bydgoszcz, Eduardo Uceda. So it's the first to go through, and just the first to go through, plus the next best. And Di Dong Dong is the fastest in the air. Marcus Rame, the most illustrious of the viewers for this, before he gets his go. Because there could be nothing more disruptive for the start of a T11 race than somebody next door leaping out of the long jump pit and breaking a world record. It's happened before. So it's Kinda in 1, Di Dong Dong into lane 3, who's a long jump expert in his own right, claiming the gold in the T11 this week to go to his Paralympic crown. Adolphe in 5, Uceda 7, and the winner to go through to the final. over the men's 100 meters, T11. Away they go. D is away well, and Adolphe is away well, and Hussein as well, I have to say, on this near side. It's between D and Adolphe now, and Timothy Adolphe will do it. D in second place, Hussein up with Kinder for third. He's into the final, no worries at all. 11.17, and Timothy Adolphe, bronze in the 400 here this week, moves on to the 100 final. 11.33 for D means he does go into that fastest loser spot for now. But Timothy Adolphe in a time just marginally faster than Descarrega in the previous semi-final, with one more semi to come. Away, but so was D. And they're so close. They're in the lanes alongside each other. They know each other's presence.
I think that was what is so spectacular about that race. They were so even for so long, and it was just such an even start. And as you say, just because you can't see the competitor beside you, you can feel them. You can probably hear the other guy yelling at them, and you know that you need to find something extra. But the problem is, at that point, if you start trying, you actually start decelerating. And I think what Adolphe showed just there is that not only does he like the pressure, he likes having the crowd behind him. It makes him a better competitor.
Marcus Rame has actually been looking up at the big screen, perhaps thinking about when his cue is going to be. Adolphe takes it, no worries there.
Saw Timothy Adolphe at breakfast this morning, and he was extremely relaxed about today. Extremely.
Timothy Adolphe takes it, 11.16, the season's best. D Dong Dong has to wait.
Now, while we're waiting for this, it is Bastille Day. Adolphe is going to cross, and I know I'm moving away from athletics a little bit here, but France have won World Rugby's Under-20 Championship, beating Ireland by 50 points to 14. So the Rugby World Cup is here later this year. It's Bastille Day. Hey, the French are happy. Give them something else to smile about, along with Timothy Adolphe moving through to the 100 metres T11 men's final.
This moment is all about a German long jumper, the best we've seen. Is this going to be something really special for the last attempt? He's gone a long distance. That is well beyond 8 meters. He gets the white flag, and now the wait can begin.
I'm so glad that we had that camera shot from behind, just trying to get it from all angles to show how far it actually is, because it's so hard to appreciate without being here in person.
It's 8:49 again. He does it for a second time like he did with 8:27, but he's given the crowd a championship record. He's given his coach, the great Steffi Nereus, another world title to their name.
And if you're watching at home, I encourage you, just like we want you to try running with one arm, we want you to try running connected to someone, get out a tape measure and measure out just how far 8 meters 49 actually is, and I promise it will surprise you.
And before that, just appreciate the elegance of this man who has gone so well into his stride, such a smooth motion that he's developed over the years, and he just keeps going longer and longer. And remember, he was a guest at the German Championships a few years ago, in the Able Bodies Championships, and he finished ahead of everyone else. He was trying so hard to be allowed to compete in the Olympic Games.
And just a note about the improvement, as you say, because it really is remarkable. He won his first Paralympics in London 2012 in 7 meters 35. His world record now from June of this year is 8 meters 72. He has worked over a decade figuring out a way to jump as far as possible.
8:72, that mark in Reda in Germany last month. And I just wonder if he's looking at that mark from Tokyo in 1991 from Mike Powell, the long jump world record of 8.95. Marcus Rain, championship record 8.49. He is world champion now for an 8th time, 6th time in the long jump. Locks it down to 1:3. Poetry in motion.
When we talk about the distance he gets in getting them to watch the long jump, like watching the high jump, and Roderick Townsend was winning and Ezra Frick was winning a few nights ago, setting world records, and you do get mesmerised by it, don't you? And just watch it and you think, how on earth do they actually do that?
Well, I mean, he is a showman, and actually what I've loved watching about him during this competition is how he's just been able to take it all in and switch in and out. He's been able to sit down, and we saw him admiring the other athletes as they were running. As soon as one of the other athletes was injured, he was right over there running, and he can just switch in and out of this intense focus and aggression, and that is what the great champions do.
Yeah, there's a steely determination, but there's also an empathy with the other athletes as well, which is lovely to see. And he's a great promoter of parasport, which is one of the key things as well. That it's not just about him, it's about promoting parasport, para-athletics around the world in the best possible light. And he does that with his performances and with the way that he carries himself.
He wants all the athletes to jump well, and the advantage for him as well is that he's very clever. He's a very clever engineer, and he does a lot of work with the legs, but he is so keen and determined to share all of his secrets. He doesn't have any. He's more than happy to sit down with anyone and tell them, this is how you set it up.
Well, let's leave the long jump. Now that's finished, and zoom around to our right for the last of the semi-finals in the men's 100 metres T11 complete visual impairment category. 4 to go in this one. It will include the reigning world record holder as well, and the Paralympic champion, Gavalas of Greece. But inside him, Ergenbek Eganazarov of Uzbekistan. There is the reigning Paralympic champion. He's the European gold medalist as well from 2018 and 2021, the world record holder, Anastasios Gavalas of Greece. Namibia's Ananias Shikongo, who took bronze in 2016 in Rio. And the former 200-metre Paralympic champion. He made the semi-finals of this at Tokyo 2020. Didn't get past this stage. Felipe de Souza Gomez. And without sounding disparaging, if I'm looking at the 3 semi-finals, this certainly looks like it will be the fastest. We shall see. The commentator's curse has struck before. So here is Gavalas of Greece, double European champion from Berlin in 2018 and 2021 in Bydgoszcz, and also the reigning Paralympic champion, world record holder that he set when he won that gold medal in Tokyo. He'll go in lane 3. Gomez on the outside, the silver medalist from 2016, the former 200-metre Paralympic champion. And in between them will be Shikongo of Namibia, wily, experienced athlete. Ganzarov in lane 1, Gavalas in 3, Shikongo in 5, De Souza Gomez in 7. Just the first who goes through. When they get away quickly, and it is Gavalas who's quickest of all over that opening 20 metres. He is absolutely flying at the moment. He could almost loosen up a bit if he wants to. He goes across, athlete before the guide, 10.94. That is inside the championship record. We'll wait for the official mark. But 10.94 is a championship record by 0.01 of a second that Lucas Prado did hold from 2019 in Dubai. It has been ratified. 10.93 is the mark. So a new championship record for Athanasios Gavalas of Greece. He got away to a quick start. The world champion Prado, who did hold that record from Dubai, has seen it relinquished to that man there. Looks like he's struggling for a bit of breath. He might have swallowed in a fly or something when he was running down. He was going that fast.
So maybe he got some of the sand from when Marcus was jumping. But I had the exact same thought as you. In a heat where only the fastest qualifier goes through, if I was looking down the heat sheets, this is not the heat that I would want to find myself in. And I love this from his guide there. The guide is looking around, acting as his eyes. He gives a yell or a command to Gavalas as soon as he's going to come up against the line and just release him. And again, I mean, we say it all the time, but just what a that little sneaky side glance there.
Just watch how he pulls up here as well. Now, running at that speed, the guy, he has to be a bit careful because you'd almost tear a hamstring doing something like that at that speed.
You can. That deceleration, again, they probably practice it, but he knows I cannot cross that line before Gavalas, and I do not want to be the reason why he gets disqualified. But Gavalas has spoken himself. Just he had sight and he lost it before his teenage years, and he was explaining about just how helpful gymnastics has been for him in terms of relearning how to use his body and how to be aware of where his limbs are. And he took a bit of a while to get up there. Let's just hope that nothing too serious has gone on.
Well, Mum and Dad were happy up there in the crowd anyway, so Gavalas will be through, but that could have been a final. It was so stacked as far as the semi-finals goes that it could have been a final.
Just a note for the T11 athletes, their eye masks are checked and they have to wear gauze patches below the eye mask and eye mask on top, and that is just to ensure that there is no vision, no visual cues while they're running.
Well, there are his parents up in the stand watching on. He looks so young, doesn't he? That's because he is. He's got youth on his side. He's gained a bit of experience along the way as well. And when you have a guide like Dimitrios Chrysophos in your corner, you'll do well indeed. Championship record then. Chikongo also goes through. So that was the fastest of the semi-finals. So that means the final is set and ready to go. So here we go. Descarega, Chikongo, Adolphe and Gavalas. That promises to be quite some final. Considering lifetime bests were also set way down by Asad Novas in 8th and Agamzarov in 11th position with a lifetime best as well.
Well, this crowd have been given another night of glorious entertainment. We're not done yet. We've got some massive wheelchair finals coming on the track. And Noel Nalkamaki has given us some prime entertainment as well this evening.
12.63 was her lifetime best going into this. She's already thrown 13.25, which is a world record. She's got nothing to lose, really. It's a free throw, all or nothing. Doesn't really matter if she fouls. She has the gold sewn up. And so what does she do? She launches one out into those craters on the ground from the shot being thrown, and she absolutely loves it. It's like she's grown 2 foot in this competition. Absolutely stunning by the American Nalkamaki from Illinois. Look at that smile. You could bottle that and keep that forever, couldn't you? 13.32 is the mark. She's broken the world record again by 7 centimetres. Takes the victory. Holly Robinson with a new Oceania record. This time she's in the medals, taking silver after missing out in the discus. And Saito of Japan takes the bronze medal with 11.42. What a shot put competition this has been. Personal bests, season bests, championship and world records to boot. Brilliant stuff by all 16.
And on we go. And our previous long throw by Nalkamaki, 12.63. Just to say earlier, that was in the US Paralympic trials earlier this year. but it had not gone down in our system as a world record, had gone down as a lifetime best, which happens sometimes. Fabulous evening. These are some scenes that we don't need to see on family television.
Well, I love that set of flats over there. You've got the best viewing position, and you've got watering of plants and wonderful herbs and all sorts of things to go with it. It is a prime viewing position. Good luck to them on what is a lovely, lovely day. The French flags are out. It is Bastille Day. Why wouldn't you celebrate by watching some para-athletics?
Well, there is a big concert in the city coming up in, I think, the next 30 minutes. It's 9 p.m. now, exactly. At 11 p.m, the fireworks start in the Eiffel Tower.
Thought you were going to disappear for a minute when you were going to the concert.
Well, we've already had one today with Yannick Noah. He's had a few number ones here as well. He's turned a fabulous tennis career into an excellent singing career, and now we've got 7 women looking to be on song in the final of the women's 100 meters T53, the second fastest of the racing wheelchair categories. And we've got 4 reigning champions in this. In lane 2 for Turkey, the European silver medalist twice over in 2018 in Berlin, Zeynep Asset. In lane 3 for Switzerland, 3 world championship goals this week for Catherine de Bruyne. She's the European 100 champion right now. In lane 4, the reigning world and Paralympic champion for China, Gao Fang. In lane 5 for Great Britain, the 2017 100 and 200 world champion, silver in the 4, bronze in the 1 in the last Paralympics, Sammy Kinghorn. In lane 6 for Bermuda, the reigning Pan Am champion, the world bronze medalist in the 100 in 2015, Jessica Lewis. In lane 7 for Turkey, the 800 meters bronze medalist this week, Hamid Doganyut. And in lane 8 for China, the reigning 100, 200, 400, 800 Asian champion, the triple champion in 2017, silver in the 1 in Tokyo, Zhu Hongshuan. A magnificent field. De Bruyne with 3 world titles this week. Gao, the world and Paralympic champion. Lewis, the Pan Am champion. Zhao, the Asian champion. Quality all the way. Asset in 2, De Bruyne 3, Gao 4, Kinghorn 5, Lewis 6, Dongaden 7, Zhao 8. The final of the women's 100 meters, T53. And they are away. Very good start from Sammy Kinghorn and Gao as well. And Catherine de Bruyne is trying to get moving here. It's the Paralympic champion Gao Fang. It's Sammy Kinghorn leading for Great Britain. De Bruyne's on the way. It's Kinghorn who's got it. Sammy Kinghorn wins the world title. The 100 meters world champion for a second time for Great Britain, for Scotland. And the championship record has gone to 15.93, and Catherine de Bruyne misses out. That was a tie one. De Bruyne with 3 golds and 1 silver, and finally this week she's beaten. It's been a great haul all the same for her. Gao Fang started magnificently as well, 16.23, also inside her championship record that won her gold 4 years ago. But Sammy Kinghorn, absolutely magnificent. Wonderful last year in the Paralympic Games. Bronze in the 1, silver in the 4. De Bruyne trying to fight back here and get into her stride. Gao Fang has started brilliantly, and Kinghorn just came and came and came and took the gold, and didn't realise for a while that she'd taken the gold.
Now, by my eye, it did look at the start, De Bruyne didn't get quite the start that she wanted. It looked like she almost slipped off of her push rim. Sammy Kinghorn certainly got the start that she wanted, and she was able just to keep on that acceleration. And considering the top speed that Catherine de Brunner has shown, Sammy Kinghorn did so well to hold her off. But that is what happens in 100 meters. If you miss any of your early pushes, it just delays the point at which you reach that top end speed, and you get to the point where there just isn't enough time to catch up. My goodness, well done from Sammy Kinghorn.
Concentrating all the time. And she goes another half a lap, and then the realization comes that she is the world champion, and it is so wonderful for her. Well, she'd said previously she was putting herself under lots of pressure. There will be many shedding a tear for her tonight. She had that glorious week in London with the 100 and the 200. De Brunner has had a week of all time in terms of her career. She's a full-time athlete, by the way. She's parked the teaching for now. She's changed her sitting position in the chair. Spends a lot of the time in the Netherlands being coached, and that's why she's so good now. Gao gets the bronze, the Paralympic champion. But Sammy Kinghorn of Red Star AC in Glasgow, the world 100 meters champion again. And there will be so many delighted for her. And rightly so. She just didn't know she'd taken it. It was about going as fast as possible, and she did. 15:93 championship record. Gold for Great Britain, Samantha Kinghorn. Catherine de Brunner, the silver this time for Switzerland. And Gao Fang, the bronze for China. Zhou 4, Lewis 5. Hamani Donganen in 6th place. Well, there will be pure delight. She is such a popular athlete.
Right now, you're getting an inside look at to the process for athletes. It does not end with winning. Sammy Kinghorn is about to enter what we call the media tunnel, and right now we have some of the world's media lined up, ready to talk to the world champions as they come off. And it's great because nobody has ever seen Paralympics and thought, well, that wasn't fun to watch. And the more media we can get behind it, the more people we can get hearing about it. Actually, the number of Paralympic athletes competing here who have said they got their start because they watched someone else do it on TV. This is important, and it's amazing, and it deserves to be covered well across the world.
Well, it is Bastille Day, and the French are enjoying it. Isn't that sweet?
It's Paris.
So the French enjoying themselves, and the non-French in the crowd are enjoying themselves as well. That gentleman looking at the schedule for tomorrow. There's a real buzz about the stadium. Stade Charlotte has been a quite wonderful host of these Para-Athletics World Championships. I've got a hat just like that on the left. Exactly the same. Except I wouldn't be wearing it in this weather.
Do you have a shirt like that as well?
No.
Well, all I'll say is, I'm glad he brought the bag.
The hat doesn't go with that kit, I can tell you right now. It's a winter hat. Peaky Blinders.
Is that your hotel?
It is. No, it's not. That's the one next door. I'm down to the left, further down.
It's quite dangerous giving your address out on live TV.
Come find me. I like a chat.
Well, it's been a raucous evening. And, well, this is how you start them young.
I like it, Chad.
I'll probably bore someone to death as well.
They're not bored. They're having a whale of a time.
There was fireworks all over Paris last night, the eve of the national holiday, which meant it wasn't a school night for anyone, which meant everyone was out.
Well, the men's 100 metres T53 is upcoming in a moment's time. We'll race on down the track and get to the athletes who are taking part in it. This is the second last event of the evening on the track.
Now, if you're enjoying these dance moves, you should check out the World Para-Athletic Stories on Instagram. They've been capturing athletes after they've won their events, doing their finest dance moves in the media zone. It's very entertaining.
And if you need any advice on social media and how to do it, Steph Reed is the person to go to. Trust me. All right, here we are. Penultimate event of the evening. The second of 3 finals to finish off the session on the evening of day 7 of competition. Championship and world record held by Brent Lakatos, who isn't in this 100-metre event. He's opted to do other ones during these championships.
It's time for the final of the men's 100-metre T53.
8 taking part in this. There'll be a roar when we get to the other end as well, because there's a Frenchman. Yeo Bin Hyung, the Korean, first of 2, will go in lane 1. Bronze and silver at World Championships over 400 and 800. Yoon Kung Chang, lifetime best of 15:43, season best 15:67. Arisvaldo Fernandez of Brazil, gold in 2015 and 2019 Pan American Games. Brian Seaman, season best in the heat. He'll now be hoping to transfer that into a medal. And Pongsakorn Payo, already won gold here over 400 metres. Here's the reigning Paralympic champion that took bronze in 2017 and 19. Abdulrahman Al-Qurashi of Saudi Arabia, silver medalist in Dubai in 2019, bronze in 2020 in Rio. Pisha Krumget, his first gold he took was back in Athens in 2004. And Pierre Fairbank, have a listen to that. He's 52 years of age. Later this month, he made his debut back in Sydney 2000. A field of 8, T53 wheelchair category. The speed will build as they move through. And they get away, and very fast indeed. In lane 3 was Fernandez, but here comes the Thai Pongsakorn Payo. He always gets going around the halfway mark, and he is absolutely flying. It's Payo against the clock, 14.51, so he's outside the championship record of Brent Lakatos and the world record as well, but he takes the victory. A quite stunning time of 14.51. He normally takes until around that 50-metre mark to get going in the T53 category, off to a slower start than what the T54s would. Al-Qurashi in 14.84 picks up the silver medal, and Fernandez of Brazil with the bronze, 14.91. It is a season best for Pongsakorn Payo in 14.51. Seaman slightly outside in 4th place yet again with that season best. So he misses out, but that was a very fast last 50 metres from the gold medalist Steph Reed. He got away to the worst start of all.
Now, if you are really into your wheelchair racing, what you'll notice there is Al-Karashi is using soft gloves, whereas Payo has chosen to use hard gloves. And the general feeling is that the soft gloves give you a much better start, but not as good of a top speed, whereas the hard gloves, they can give you a less consistent start, but you get a much faster top speed. So you can see there that Payo, while he started behind, he keeps putting in that power, and he eventually reaches the top a faster top end speed, and that's why he ended up winning that 100 meters. So it's tough. I think I caught two of the athletes using hard or soft gloves there, and actually Danny Sidbury also uses soft gloves, and he does extremely well in the endurance events. So it's not that they're hard and fast rules, but again, in this event, because the wheelchairs themselves are so important, you do have to tinker quite a bit to figure out what works for you. It's very similar to Formula One. You can be the fastest race car driver in the world, but if they put you in well, I don't want to name a slow car because that's not fair, but if they don't put you in the fastest car in the world, then you simply aren't going to do as well. The technology does matter.
Well, that's a really good explanation. Thank you very much indeed. Pongsakorn Payo knew what he was doing then. He was foregoing some speed at the beginning to pick up some speed further down the track, because he was definitely the slowest to get away, but the arm speed and the power when he got going. And he adds to the gold he's taken here at these championships over 400 metres. He's now the gold medalist in the 100 metres as well. Double world champion at these games, Pongsakorn Payo. The championship record and world record of Brent Lakatos, Mr. Steph Reed, remains. I could see she was happy about that. So Pongsakorn Payo with the gold, Al-Karashi with the silver, and Fernandez, Brazil in the medals yet again, with a bronze this time.
Special evening in Paris on this special day for France. But don't go anywhere yet. We've still got one more track final to cover. It's a T54 one, so you know it's going to be good. The men's club throw F51 final. Seated category. Most restricted impairments of the 50 athletes. So for Serbia, this is Filip Gravac. This is his last attempt. Sent that one out beyond the 30-meter line. Club throw is what replaces the discus in this classification, and he's saved the best to last. 32.72, and Grojevic will get the gold.
I have to say, I've just seen something that I don't know the answer to. He threw the club, and the club landed and then bounced backwards. And I don't know where, I mean, it's still a world, the mark itself still stands, but if anybody does know, please tweet it in and teach us something new.
Ramos, currently lying in third position. He's got that one out. Again, beyond 30 meters. I suspect it's where it lands first, because if it goes onwards, they're not going to measure onwards. So imagine if it goes backwards, they don't measure backwards.
But in a long jump...
But don't quote me.
In a long jump, if you... I mean, I could run through the pit. They're not going to measure from the farthest mark.
That definitely landed at 32.21. And Ramos is okay. And he's got the silver medal. He's ahead of our third placer here, Alexander Radicic. And this is his effort from earlier when he was in fourth position.
Just quickly, I think the long jump bit, you're in control of the movement because it's you yourself. With a piece of equipment, it'll be where it lands, because if it goes backwards, you're not in control of that.
Well, okay, I'm going to challenge you again. If we have a javelin and the back of the javelin hits first before the tip, then that's also counted as a foul.
We'll leave it at that.
Radicic, 31.58 previously. That a lifetime best. Has he improved on it with his penultimate effort? 31.88, another new lifetime best, and Radicic gets the bronze. So Serbia 1 and 3 in this men's club throw F51 final. Filip Grojevic with the honours, Mario Ramos the silver for Mexico, and Alexander Radicic the bronze, and barely a metre between the top three. The Amanda Kataya fan club are out in force. She is upcoming in the women's 100 meters T54 final. Finnish TV are here again, by the way. The Mauritian team are out to support Noemi Alphonse in this women's 100 meters T54 final. And we've got the Momoka Murioka fan club out as well, dressed in attire that they usually wouldn't be. Taking it all in. Getting very close to the action.
I saw Stylianos Malakopoulos then, so perhaps that is the daughter of him.
The last track final of the French national holiday. If only there was someone sporting the tricolour in it. It's the final of the women's 100 meters T54. We've got the reigning European and world champion in this. A great field, and we have, pound for pound, the greatest of all time. But let's start with lane one. And in lane one for Japan, it's the reigning Paralympic downhill Super G and giant slalom champion from Beijing last year, Momoka Murioka. Can she extend her skiing class to athletics? There's no Musinelli in 2. African record holder Noemi Alphonse from Mauritius in 3. The 13-time world and 8-time Paralympic champion is in lane 4. There's only one, Tatjana McFadden. In lane 5 for Finland, the 4-time European, 3-time world champion. Bronze of the 100 in Tokyo in the Paralympics, Amanda Kataya for Finland. In lane 6 for China, the reigning Asian and Paralympic champion, Zhao Zhaokan of China. In lane 7 for the United States, 4th in the 100 meters final in the Paralympics in Tokyo, Hannah Dederick. And in lane 8 for China on a championship debut, 4th in the 800 final, winner of 2 medals in the Dubai Grand Prix at the start of the year, Liu Shu Mei. McFadden has the world record, Kataya has the championship record. Kataya with the fastest time in the world this year. Murioka, Musinelli, Alphonse, McFadden, Kataya, Zhu, Dederick, Liu, T54, women's 100 meters final. Away, first time. Lovely start by Kataya and by Zhu. McFadden will try and come into a prime here, but Kataya, who's had so much success in the 100 meters, and Alphonse is moving up here from Mauritius. It's Kataya, Alphonse, McFadden. Kataya holding on. She's done it again for Finland. Amanda Kataya is the world champion for a 5th time, the 3rd time in a row in the 100 meters, and Naomi Alphonse gets the world silver. It's a 2nd bronze this week for Tatjana McFadden. The championship record has gone to 15.96. Well, Leo Pakatati and Henry Mani and Amanda Kataya are the names that are pushing parasport to the forefront in Finland. And Naomi Alphonse is now doing the same in Mauritius with this World Championship silver. But Kataya really had to fight for that. Such a tight margin between the top 3. It's still great to see Tatjana McFadden pick up major championship medals. But if you finish, that was quite the finish.
I love it when you see an athlete who's truly surprised themselves, because you think about it and you dream about it, but doing it is very different. And Kataya definitely came here, and she has a great start. She knew that, but my goodness, to have Tatjana McFadden and Naomi Alphonse breathing down your neck, to maintain your composure and hang on to that win. Oh, that was just such a great result. And actually, just a quick note on classification. We're actually looking at the men's T53 previously. This is actually a great example, because you can see in the T53s, they don't lift their stomachs off from their chest when they push because they don't have abdominals. Whereas in the women's T54, it's a different classification because they do have full use of their torsos and full use of their arms. So it lets them get a little bit more power, which is especially important at the start of a 100.
The urging and the waiting and the worrying, and then the relief. Finland strike gold again through Amanda Kataya in 2015 in Doha. World champion for the first time in the 200, and now 3 in a row, the 100. And her coach, Arno Mol from the Netherlands.
Now that is an athlete who could not wait for a hug.
Well, that's just beautiful for Mauritius. And on the international stage, now just be careful, it's a long way down and it's a long way up to match this woman. And just like Sammy Kinghorn a few minutes ago, a smile of glory. Amanda Kataya, the gold for Finland, championship record 15.96. Noemi Alphonse, the silver for Mauritius, and Tatjana McFadden, the bronze for the United States. That is McFadden's 18th all-time world championship medal, 13 of them gold. Well, there's an extra reason to turn on TV2 in Finland tonight for the highlights. But a 4-time African record holder, that's one thing. But to be a major championship medalist in a global sport from a nation that doesn't always have the spotlight on it in a sporting sense, that is quite something. And if Noemi Alphonse wants some time to celebrate more than anyone else, she is more than entitled to that. And she almost won it. She was coming up brilliantly. All eyes, certainly my eyes, in the centre lanes from McFadden and Kataya. And then Alphonse sails up. I should tell you, of course, Kataya, if you're not aware, was 100th of a second outside McFadden's world record earlier this year, 15.36. Her lifetime best set this year, McFadden's record, 15.35. Well, the championship record of Kataya has been lowered tonight, but the Finnish flag will be raised tomorrow. Well, she can join the rest of France and take a bit of a holiday tonight if she wants to. She's earned it. Filip Grojevich with that excellent club throw victory. And Anastasia Moskalenko winning the women's shot put F32 championship record, 7 meters 50. Juana Brito with the silver for Brazil, and Rosemary Little up for Australia with the bronze.
So we teased you with the club throw F51. Now we'll show you Filip Grojevich of Serbia, 32.72. Ramos of Mexico, 32.21, taking the silver medal, and Radicic making it a Serbia 1-3. Lifetime best, 31.88 for him. Men's 400 metres T13, the opening heat. And this taken by Fukunaga Ryota in a new Asian record, 47.79. Season best for Nambala, and Damini also in a lifetime best goes through season best for Masuge, who qualifies fastest as well.
Well, Brenda Bermudez of Colombia taking the next heat, 49.97, qualifying along with Hernandez, Marsillier and Vegersved into his second final of the week for Norway, and a lifetime best for him as well, and Hernandez of Spain.
Long jump champion Marcus Rame in the T64, a new championship record of 8:49. Derek Loxton, no accident for him, picking up silver medal in 7:39, and Jared Wallace with a bronze medal, knocking out Trenton Merrill right at the death to take the bronze. Season best for Malongo and Wanji Nagono as well. Men's 400 metres T20 intellectual impairment category. This is the first semi-final. Charles Antoine Kouakou, the Paralympic champion, going in this. A season best, him in second place. Samuel Oliveira taking first. Colorado going through with a season best in the third automatic qualification place for the final.
A championship record on his championship debut for Giovanni Philippe of Mauritius. Taking this victory, Milad Ramazani with a new Asian record for Iran. Tavares, Blanco, Rodriguez, all into the final.
Women's 400 metres T47 final. De Silva in a season best time, 57.30, beating off the challenge of Li Lu, who also set a season best. And Augusto, Brazil in the medals yet again with a lifetime best for the Brazilian in third.
Noelle Malkamake with a new world record of the women's shot put, F46. Holly Robinson with a silver in this, having missed out in the javelin, and a new Oceania record for her as well. Saito of Japan with the bronze. Lifetime best for Vanaskaite of Lithuania. Ayub Sadni of Morocco breaking his own world record to claim the men's 400 T47, 46.78. Tanner Wright with a lifetime best with a silver for the United States, and Jose Martins with the bronze for Brazil.
Women's 1500 metres T20 race, and Barbara Bignowska-Zajac, she's a three-time Paralympic champion. She's now a five-time world champion. 5 in a row, season best for her. The silver of Brazil with a new area record, taking the silver, and Ludmila Danilina taking the bronze medal for Ukraine.
Luca Eckler's greatest night on the track. A new world record of the women's 200 metres T38, gold for Hungary. And America's record for Darian Jimenez, the 100 champion, in second. And Sophie Hahn of Great Britain, the outgoing champion, with the bronze. Clark and Party, fourth and fifth for Australia.
The first of four heats in the women's 100 metres T12, medium visual impairment. Amara Duran going in the final one. Lorraine Gomez qualifying fastest, 12.65. Folgado Garcia going through as the fastest loser in that opening heat with a season best, 12.74.
"22 years after a major championship debut, Katrin Muller-Rockhart is still winning races for Germany through to the final of the women's 100 metres T12, and Melanie Bergers going through as well, the former European champion.
Alejandra Perez Lopez, season best, seeing her through to the semi-final as the fastest qualifier. Simran of India pulling up at the halfway mark with an injury, disqualified after her guide had released her from her tether.
And the next result writes itself. Omara Durand raced and Omara Durand won. She's in the final, along with Putri and Laya Ipinge. Progress to the semi-finals, of course.
Men's 100 metres T11, the first of 3 semi-finals. This one saw Gerard Descarrega with a lifetime best heading through to the final. No Lucas Prado, the world champion at these championships. He's missing.
Timmy Rudolph winning his semi-final of the men's 100 metres T11, but Di Dong Dong not making it.
The third of the semi-finals saw a championship record to Athanasios Gavalas with a championship record of 10.93. Ananias Shikongo also going through as a qualifier in what was the fastest of those semi-finals, a season best for him.
6 years ago, Sammy Kinghorn did the 100-200 double at the Worlds in London. She's the 100 metres world champion again for Great Britain and Scotland. Championship record 15.93. De Bruyne, 3 golds and a silver for her now for Switzerland. Gao Fang, the bronze for China.
The men's 100 metres T53, Pongsakorn Payo, the Paralympic champion, the world champion, with a season best time for him. Adding to the 400 metres he's won here at these games already. Off to a slowish start, but powered home. Alcaraz with the silver and Fernandez of Brazil with the bronze medal.
And the T54 final, a 4th World Championship gold, 3rd in a row in the 100 metres for Finland's Amanda Kataja. Championship record 15.96. Naomi Alphonse, a magnificent silver for Mauritius. And Tatjana McFadden, the bronze for the United States.
Air France on Bastille Day. Is there any greater sight? It has been a wonderful day 7. And the best part is we still have 3 to go. I'm sure there'll be some there landing on that flight. Who'll be getting their way over to Stade Charlotte first thing in the morning for the 15th of July, and a brilliant day to come.
So China now have taken 13 gold medals this week, and Brazil 10. Latest of them in the women's T47 through Fernando Yara da Silva. Great Britain hitting gold through Sammy Kinghorn in the 100 metres tonight. Another bronze for Tatjana McFadden. Switzerland now with 9 medals, 4 supplied by Catherine de Bruyne. But this time, not a gold. Still a great haul for her. Uzbekistan now with 13 medals, 4 titles. Colombia, all the 4s. Thailand scoring well as usual in the wheelchair racing. Marcus Rahm, championship record, Germany's 3rd gold of the week. Italy with a clean sweep in the women's 100 T64 last night. 6 medals in all. Netherlands, 2 golds for Fleur Young. 3 of the 4 medals coming in the long jump. And Luca Eckler with that magnificent double gold for Hungary in the long jump, and tonight in the 100 metres with the world record. Diana Kremina and Iga Zapinas have done what they normally do for Latvia. New Zealand, Holly Robinson with that tremendous, almost unexpected silver tonight. Amanda Kataja striking gold for Finland gloriously. Belgium with theirs last night in the T52. Kalafshli and Rushdie with the sole medals so far for Bulgaria and Norway. Canada of 9 medals. Mauritius with a wonderful silver for Naomi Alphonse. That I think we will all remember for a very, very long time. She will. And all of her compatriots will too. Host nation have got 2 bronze medals to date, but we'll give them a special gold for their hosting. It's been smashing.
So we're looking forward to day 8 on what is a bit of a turn up for the books. There are 6 finals taking part in the morning session, and only one of those will be on the track. That at 11:06 local time. The men's 100 metres T36 final. We will have 5 in the field. From me, Tolson Toller, and the team, till next time, bye-bye.